ensues. Didn't Steven say he'd be on? And, well, Chris as well.
Let's just make it a short show.
Hi, Jen. Hello.
When you want to get off the darkest ground,
Ass hats.
but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Clear sky. Where am
Well, howdy, y'all, and welcome back to yet another movie night. We are here and we are live, and we have with us tonight a lovely group of people on our panel. So let's get right into it and introduce them. Tonight we have with us Jenny Morgan.
Good evening, chatters. Everyone's doing good. Let's get some
Fantastic.
stupid out of here.
All right, I like it. We also have Mom Nato with us tonight.
Hi, folks. Welcome to movie night. As always, every Friday night. So sit back, enjoy us talking about the stupid.
Alrighty, sounds awesome. Thank you. We also have Tornado with us tonight.
You're muted.
Hello, Tornado.
Sorry
Tornado?
about that.
Who let him in
I'm
here?
I'm here. Sorry about that. My mic was muted, but if it sounds like I'm munching on something, I am. I'm munching on popcorn.
You also sound like you're very far away.
Movie night tonight.
He's
Oh
probably-
shit! I am so sorry about that. How's that? My
I figured
mic
you
was-
probably didn't know,
my mic
but
was moved to the top of my.
Getting it together
gotcha.
there, Tornado?
Yes, I've got it all together now.
All right.
Eventually, yeah.
But yeah, if it sounds like I'm munching on something, it's
We
because I'm
heard.
munching on popcorn.
Yes, he's having one of his autistic days.
That's all right. Well, we're glad to have you with us, Tornado. We also have Purple Rhymes with Orange with us tonight.
Hello.
Hey,
I've
Harp.
got it all together, but I have no idea where I put it.
Uh-oh. That sounds problematic.
Well, as long as it's not in your ass, you're good.
Check your
Oh,
pants.
that's true.
And
Yeah.
as long as you don't manage to find it in the fridge at some point. Yeah.
I'm not wearing any pants. Is that a problem?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so show of hands, how many people here have at some point found the remote in the fridge?
I have not.
No, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, not my own, but a friend's.
Mark.
Uh-huh,
that might
sure.
you might be hearing her heater. She's down in the basement,
Yeah.
so not much we can do about it.
Yep.
So, who would by accident take somebody else's remote control while visiting them, and then later find it in your own fridge at home?
That
I
would
did
be
not
quite
say
a
they were a
feat.
close friend.
Oh, that's different.
No,
That's
the
different.
Or-
only
Or sane.
the only thing I've found with remotes is the cat vomiting on my TV remote and having to replace it.
Oh, always fun.
Yeah.
That was about 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Mom was pissed.
Yeah.
Well,
Where did you get the new remote? I'm curious.
no.
I went
When do you get the
to-
new cat? Is more
Yeah.
a better
Well,
question.
it's a smart TV, so I went on to Amazon.com
Uh-oh.
and ordered the exact same remote, and I didn't have to do anything. Just pop the batteries in, and it worked just fine.
I have a much older TV,
Uh-huh.
and I needed a remote. And I just went on did a search for TV remotes, and I came up on this site that sells remotes for virtually every TV made, and I bought a new one for like $8.
Yeah, it cost
Yeah.
me $8.99 on Amazon for it.
I'm surprised they're so cheap.
Yeah, isn't it?
Well,
That was
the
good
thing
news.
is, let's say 10 years ago, if you messed up your remote control and you had to buy a new one, if you weren't able to get a off-brand one or a universal one, you would have to pay an arm and a leg for a new original one. And it was ridiculous because they really do cost.
It cost a lot.
Well, pocket lint. They cost pocket lint to produce, unless it's a smart remote, which just means it costs pocket lint times 2. It's still cheap to make. So.
Alrighty. Well, shall we get the wheel up here and see what we got going on the wheel?
Yes, let's.
Please
Sure.
not.
Bo, I was wondering, do you keep a handle on the pocket lint futures?
No, but I do have a small tin filled with navel lint that I keep in.
Ew, too much information.
What the fuck, yo?
Alrighty.
just
Anyway,
kidding.
I
moving
was going to ask
on.
if I could cash in on the dryer lint.
Moving on. Let's take a look at our wheel, shall we? So
The
we
wheel
have
of stupid.
indeed.
Button lint. Ew.
So on the wheel tonight, we have internet, we have Sovsit, we have lasers, we have map, we have rock and monsters, and nope, that one's not supposed to be there. There we go.
Internet.
All right. Save. Let's try that. Okay. All right. So let me make sure.
I once saw this art
updated.
display where a woman made art images using dryer lint.
I
As a
remember
medium.
seeing that too, yeah.
Anyway, our movies tonight are the internet
I
doesn't.
now regret saying lint.
Anyway,
sorry.
the first one on our list tonight is The Internet Doesn't Exist, No Submarine Underwater Internet Cables by Barnabas Nagy. We have Sovereign Citizen gets Windows smashed. We have a Sovereign Citizen gets Windows smashed by police after spewing insane legal theories for 20 minutes from Not Personal. We have Flat Earth
Please
Lasers
let us watch
Lunatics.
that. I want to see someone go, I do not consent to that.
Zip
We
it.
have Flat Earth Lasers, Lunatics, and Liars from D Marble. We have Flat
Also,
Earth
Misty nuts.
Flat Earth Flight Route Map with third grade maths from our very own Phuket Word, our favorite.
Fuck, wait.
Flat Earth Evidence of Rock Formation in Single Generation. That's also a Phuket. I think. Oh, and then Monsters MGTOW.
Monsters.
Yes. And then that's it. I think that's it. No crystals, no chakras, no flat Earth. Hooray.
We hope. I told you last week it was a chakra video. Nobody wanted to believe me.
There's a potential for flat Earth. but,
Phuket word is
yeah,
it's flat Earth.
there's a potential
Okay.
for flat Earth, but we're hoping not. All right. Well,
Is
let's.
lasers a reference to the Penguin Army?
Yeah, let's spin it.
You never know.
Wheel of misfortune. Turn, turn, turn. Show us the stupid that we should burn.
Oh no,
Spin
it
it.
happens again. Aww.
All right. It
Come
is
on.
internet.
Oh no!
The internet does not exist.
Oh no, the thing that doesn't exist, although we are here.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, the fact that we are watching this kind of debunks that one right off. So
I
Okay,
know.
well, let's move on to another one.
No.
What if I told you that-
Hold on.
You know,
All right.
it's
come
the
on. Who-
they're
who
wanting
can-
to discuss the underwater cables.
Yeah. Who the heck?
I'd rather talk.
who
I'd
can-
rather talk about Dryerland art.
Oh my god.
Well, at least as long as mean dryer lint and not the other thing that I'm not sure came out on air, or maybe I don't know.
you mean the damper lint?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's say.
Burnt lint.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm just getting the movie set up
Lint?
here.
If it's lint, when do we have to pay it back?
As soon as you return it.
Yeah.
But
Okay, I have never heard of lint, but okay.
I don't know. I gave up using the dryer for lint.
Oh, that purple. That you have to
Oh.
leave now.
Sometimes dryers are actually quite good because they have a tendency to bring gifts sometimes. And it's even better if you're not the only one using it.
Is that
Then you
kind of
get-
like pack rats that they take your sock and leave you something else?
Actually, I was thinking about cash.
Hi, Dick Dawson.
Hey, Dick.
All righty. Well,
Hey,
I think
Dick.
we're queued up here. So let's see.
We're
Let's-
watching a video on how the internet doesn't exist, and we're watching it on the internet.
Of course.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, the flat
I think-
earthers say that we can't use satellites for internet connection. This dingbat who thinks that everything is a conspiracy, even him at some point.
Wait a
I'm
minute.
guessing.
Is this conspiracies by Hans?
No.
Hans Wormhat or Hans Wormhat. Well, hey,
Oh, this is
he does
Barnabas
the same
Nagin.
stupid. Yeah, but he does the same stupid.
All right.
mean,
well, shall we
they're
get
practically-
started?
Yeah.
Do we have to?
Unfortunately, yes. If we're going to debunk
What
them.
do you have against my liver?
I have it out for
Hey.
your liver. That's it.
Yeah, liver alone.
Exactly.
No, wait, that doesn't work.
All right. Let's get started.
Joke's on you. My liver's okay.
For
All
now.
right. Let's see what we got here.
Your internet cable does nothing. That there are no submarine cables under the ocean, and all internet communication is a lie. Well, let's investigate.
Break!
Ah, boy.
I think I had
Screaming child.
Mom NATO first on that one.
Yeah. Gee, there's this thing called wireless internet. Most people have newer computers that don't require cables. I'm not one of them. I actually plug into my modem.
Yep.
But
Well, he's
That's
talking
always a better
about
choice.
transoceanic cabling.
I know, but
Okay.
if they can create wireless modems to pick up the internet, who says they need fucking oceanic cables? Meh.
Oh, that's right. From just having an internet connection for this specific continent or that specific continent.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we got a super chat.
We did. We got a $4.99 super chat from Robert Williams, who says Herb Solo died, head of production at Desilu that got Star Trek going. How about just talk about how good Star Trek is and screw the dumb? I normally wouldn't mind, but definitely not. There's no movie night without dumb. We have to have some of the dumb.
Really?
Well, hey, I'm here. Doesn't that count?
Dumb.
No.
I can keep making lame puns all night.
No. No.
And
Like
not all
does-
of them will be punny. Yeah.
Like if it's transoceanic, does that mean it was born as freshwater?
Oh man.
my
This is
gosh.
going to be a painful one, isn't it?
I think tornado
Yeah.
is next.
Yes, tornado.
So this numbnut is saying that all internet communication is a lie. Counterexample, movie night.
Yeah.
You've been debunked. Let's move on to the next video.
All right. Well, let's.
The first transatlantic cable was laid in 1854. Oh, the project began in 1854, I should say. It took about four or 5 years to build it. It only lasted like a month or something like that. But they've been putting cables on the ocean floor for a long fucking time now.
Yeah.
This guy is dumb, just plain dumb as usual. Barnabas, you're impressive.
Well, we not only have
and for the wrong reasons.
We also have pipelines. Transatlantic, pipelines that run across the ocean to transport stuff. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, and there was an incident when the transatlantic cable went out, and they pulled it up to find that a dead sperm whale had become entangled in it.
Yep.
We also have Bo with the hand up.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he will also dispute the fact that, I don't know, at least 2 years and a handbasket ago, they also, they did put some oceanic phone lines in. This massively thick cable
Fiber optic cable,
that made it possible to have a conversation between, I'm not sure, but I think it was the Prime Minister of England and the President of the US, I think it was. Does that also not exist? Did that also not happen?
I have no clue.
According to this numbnut, yes, that did not happen.
Yeah. Well, and isn't there a similar...
I am a bit sketchy on who talked to each other, but that conversation did in fact happen in real life, but maybe not between those two people.
Yeah, isn't there a similar cable that was specifically for linking the White House to Moscow? So in the instance that there was an incident, they could talk to each other before launching the bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so you know, this is not personal. Click.
Now they just use it for pizza delivery. Purple, I need to question the veracity of your claim about that cable and stuff. I just don't see how something as microscopic as whale sperm could interfere with a cable.
Oh my goodness.
Powerful
Jenny.
sperm. Is that what you're saying?
Alrighty. Well, anyway.
Maybe it was crossed
Well,
with a
you did
xenomorph
say
and
that
it was
the cable had gotten laid.
Oh, that's true.
Well, it could have been crossed with,
People get laid more often than I do.
could have been crossed with the xenomorph and became acidic.
I think we should move on.
No, I like Mom NATO's conspiracy theory better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's
We have
let's
no clue what's in the deep, dark depths of the ocean.
let's continue on here.
Not my world. This is not my world. This is not my world. This is not my world.
Cables
hell?
under the ocean. I was like,
That's
this
his
doesn't make
intro.
sense.
Wow.
You know, but then I was trying to make some research on this, and one thing came to my mind in the morning,
Pause.
which was
Drink.
the
Yes, Bo.
Yeah, before this dingbat says anything here, no, of course it's not Tomato because he's cool. What is the maximum length for a network cable? Well, if we're talking about a LAN cable, Cat 5, 6, or 7, whatever.
RJ45.
Well, here's the nerd in me. That's just a connector. Haha.
Yeah.
No, what I'm getting to is how far. Well, that depends on how much bandwidth you would like, because if it's let's say 10 feet, it has the it'll easily throw around, let's say 1 gigabit or 10 gigabit. Doesn't really matter. Let's say it just gives out, it'll transfer 1 gigabit to make it easy. If you make this cable, say, I don't know, 600 feet long, it'll still work. Not as fast as 1 gigabit, but it will still work. You can make it 500. I just went metric. You can make a network cable that's let's see, 1,000 feet long. That's about almost 300 meters, and it will still be able to be used. The signal will be weak, of course, but it can still be used.
Our genius Barnabas here is confusing, as you can see by his article there. It's talking about a network cable, as Bo is describing, and specifically a UTP cable, which is an untwisted pair of wires that literally are not twisted together within the shielding of the cable. And it's the wire that actually connects your Ethernet crap in your house or your office or whatever it is. Of course, that cable is not going to be used under the ocean.
Because yes, the oceanic cables do have copper in them, but it's not for the transfer of the communication. Those copper cables or copper wires, are for the booster/repeaters that are placed along those cables.
Right.
And those are just signal boosters.
They use optical connections.
That he's missing is that's it. Is that today most cables are fiber optic?
Well, all of them. If we're talking about oceanic cables, communication cables, they're all of them are.
And we also have to keep in mind all of those cables are shielded inside a pipeline, I believe would be the best word to put it.
Yeah,
to protect them.
Yeah, it's sufficiently to put it in short terms. That even came from me. Damn. They have been. Yeah, I know. Crazy. They have been sufficiently shielded. More, in fact, than they believe is needed, because they want to make sure that it does survive. So.
All right.
For those who don't know what shielding is on a cable, if you wrap that cable in some sort of wire braid or some kind of wire shielding, like aluminum foil, even it will act as a shield. It's to absorb or keep extra RF noise from getting in and disturbing the signal running down the cable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, if you take a good quality category 6 cable or 6E even, you could easily see both a loose copper braid that isn't necessarily covering all of it, but it will be in direct contact with metal foil that is. So yeah,
you guys are
idiots.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Well, we also had Tornado. Did you still had your hand up?
Yes, it was on the issue regarding his shirts. I noticed that he had a shirt.
Alrighty, I am back. Hopefully we are too. My internet took a dump.
Okay, I'm trying not to give any spoilers away, but as a couple of people in the side chat have said, Sirsic covered this video, so I've already seen it.
Oh, you poor thing.
All right.
I'm afraid now.
Woe unto you.
Alrighty, I think we're all good now. I'd want to make sure the stream was back up. Or maybe it didn't go down, I don't know. Yeah, there was buffering, okay. Yeah, my internet took a dump. I do apologize for that. And I think we're good.
Hey, RJ just got here.
Hello, RJ.
I was just watching a geology show. I had to finish that.
Hey, RJ.
How exciting.
And we're not sorry because you came in here voluntarily, you idiot.
Talking about how the internet is fake.
Watching another one of your earthy films, huh?
Your brain is going to get whiplash going from actual science to this.
Yeah.
RJ?
About the Swahili nice.
Oh.
We're reviewing a Barnabas Nagy video where he's telling us that there's no such thing as an internet cable under the ocean.
Or
And
just
that's
the internet
kind of
in general.
meta.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for RJ, there are certain things for which you cannot acclimate yourself. And it gets even worse if you come straight from something sciencey to something, that is quite the antithesis.
Is this like somebody writing a book that says books don't exist?
Yes.
Well, think of Hans Wormhead, and you've pretty much got a carbon copy.
What is the maximum length of a network cable? I think it's the same length as the dial on the stereo system, 11.
All right. Well,
Also,
we,
this guy is talking about a UTP cable, like Jenny Morgan was talking about, for the Ethernet, not a transoceanic cable.
Please don't yell.
Yes. Do bear in mind that he may be using the cable for purposes other than electronics, and that could account for some of his behavior.
He's using it to tie the mattress to the roof of his car for transport.
Or inserting into
don't say that. I've
orifices
seen
that are not
pictures.
exactly compatible with that particular plug.
they don't have the right connector.
Using it as a wrap where he shouldn't.
Yeah.
Moving
Which
on,
will hopefully
please.
keep him from having kids.
Alrighty. Well, let us
He may
continue on
already
with our
have
lovely
pissed in the
video.
gene pool.
Yeah.
Oh, how
let's
sad.
let's continue on and see what else we got.
Yeah.
The max length of the UTP cable, which is this cable. It's called the UTP or Cat6 cable, and this is the cable that connects your computer into your internet box or your router, basically.
Modem!
And I was like, there must be
that's fair.
a
I don't
maximum
want to go
length
too
of this.
technical there.
And so
Your
I was
internet
looking
box.
for the answer, and I found it on this article, and people answered, and they said
On the
basically
non-existent internet.
it's about
Drink.
100 meter.
Yes,
Drink.
Mom NATO.
Okay, I know for a fact because I have a friend who wired his entire house with Cat6 cables so that he can take a laptop wherever he wanted and plug it in because he doesn't move very well. And he knows how to make your own connections for Cat6 cables so that you can make your cable as long as you fucking want. There is no maximum length. So
Well, there is for the effectiveness of the signal, so the strength of the signal and the quality
Yeah,
of the signal.
there is
Right.
some signal degradation with excessive length.
And DC current does have does have finite limits on distance travel. That was what the big row between Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison was all about. AC can go forever, but DC can't.
okay.
So are we going to be talking about AC versus DC? Well, then by that metric, we also have to talk about the albums Back in Black and Thunderstruck.
Oh boy.
At least that was funny. Unlike most of his jokes.
Fuck you.
Whoa! Hey!
Is the Washington just north of California, Washington AC?
Maybe.
Oh my.
Whoop, 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 whoop. I have my
Alright.
little hand up.
Shall we? Yes, we should go over to RJ.
Yeah, you see, this is an easily resolvable problem on the distance you need for your cable. Every electron that comes out of the little spigot, you give each electron to a specially trained gerbil who is trained to go and home in on the destination section. And this can be like miles away, light years away if you have an extremely good memory retention on your gerbil. And each gerbil then carries the electrons one by one and then piles them up at the other end, and you put it together. This is a very simply resolvable problem.
I like it.
Yeah.
Just
And,
think.
and by the way,
those
I've got a
gerbils,
monopoly on trained gerbil sales.
Also, there's the added advantage of the ease by which you can you can punish those gerbils if they do not behave, because the
shock 'em.
electrons, they can be messed with.
Well, watch out. Your gerbils have got a damn strong union.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
Just be
unfortunately,
warned
the
on there.
retirement
You
plan
don't
is
want to
cat
have
food.
a gerbil enforcer coming down on you with their little teeny teeth going.
No, that sounds horrible.
Moving on.
Gerbils used to be very popular for the tunneling.
Gerbils
Tunnels and
fight.
stuff.
They can be mean. Those teeth
Yes. Alrighty.
They are a
Anyway,
I
let's,
apologize for not sounding nearly as stupid in my discussion as the video does.
That's all right, RJ.
No,
we'll forgive you this
RJ,
time.
don't apologize for that. Trust me.
It's not possible to get as stupid as this video. I know.
Exactly.
And we know you're still waiting for the geology to wear off.
I'd like to offer
true,
a factoid to the chat.
Taco shape Earth. Taco shape Earth.
A factoid for the chat. Chat, did you know? The more you know. That electricity runs on the outside of a wire, not the inside. Ooh.
And is that like
And
electron sex?
if
Oh
we're
my
talking
God.
about AC, the higher the frequency of the signal, the more of the signal travels on the outside and further away from the center of that core.
So you have like falsetto electrons and baritone electrons?
Almost.
Okay. Just
All right,
trying to
well,
make
let's
this
reason
clear.
why,
continue
if you're
on.
Damn, we're not stalling good enough.
No,
I haven't
no
warmed up yet.
stalling.
There's only 4 drinks. We're still sober.
Yeah, we've still got a long way to
why,
go.
Tony? Tony
Yeah.
Regime, why?
Yeah, if we have too much gerbil talk, we'll attack
Yeah.
Richard.
Does anybody want to know how long this video is?
Ooh,
I don't know, but we've been
messing
messing around for
threaten
half
us.
an hour.
Tell us how
I
long
know.
it is.
Super chat.
Well, let's just say we've been at this about a half hour, and we're about a minute in. And it's a 22-minute video.
Ding.
Not today.
He manages to play with cables for 22 minutes.
So yeah.
Whoa.
He
Wow,
gave
nice
himself a
work. If you get it.
colonoscopy.
So what she means, panel, is more drinking, less talking.
Well, we're doomed then.
Yes, we're in trouble.
Super chat.
Yes, I'm working on it. We had Morton Nielsen for $45, who says, "Did anyone else notice that JC's internet left when RJ came in? That's the face."
It's my
This is where
magnetic
we need.
field.
This is where we need that dangerous short video clip of I can't remember, hamster, I think it was. Let's just call it a rodent with a bit of music to it. Dun dun dun. Where the
that was
where the rodent turns around in a dramatic manner.
That was a prairie dog.
Okay. Well, at least rodent,
Well, yeah.
Let us move on.
Let's
please.
remember to keep a prairie available, otherwise the prairie dogs are going to become confused.
Yes, very important to keep your prairie dogs unconfused.
Got to have your habitat correct.
Alrighty, let's continue on. Here we go.
Okay.
Or 300 feet mark. And they also linked this Wikipedia entry, which I had a look at. And indeed, this is the Cat6 patch cable, which is the internet cable. And they say here that it is 100-meter maximum distance. So this cable
There's no
has a
such
maximum
thing as an
100-meter
internet
distance.
cable.
And you are telling me that there are thousands of miles of cable similar to this under the ocean?
No.
Give me a break.
No, it's
Not only that.
Oh, yeah. So stupid. It hurts.
Oh
my God.
All right. Well, we had
Oh,
Tornado first with that one, and then we'll go to RJ.
Okay, dude, you need to learn the difference between your UTP house cable and the cable that runs from one end of the Atlantic Ocean to the other. No one, except for no one, is going to shove an Ethernet cable underwater, you stupid shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't scream. Don't
Calm
scream.
down. Take a stress pill, Dave.
RJ.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. Especially not with this
I
tool.
wonder if Barnabas has any clue
No.
about some of the transmission concepts, like half duplex, full duplex,
No.
packet sensing, and these kinds of things that are all involved in actually making cables work and transmission
Of course
a
he
reality.
No. Never.
And I'm
He
also
seems to think that there's
pretty
like
sure-
one cable per service or something.
and and honestly speaking, I'm pretty sure he knows he's full of dude
Yeah, and
because
there's
he is a
different-
dude himself. So
He
Right.
is.
And the Ethernet is different than the internet.
yeah, it's as if there's a difference between LAN and WAN, as in LAN and
Ooh.
WAN.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
I miss LAN parties.
Back in the day when you
Back
either
in the day.
Thank you, ma'am.
yeah, when we used either token ring or 10 base, but then again, some of us in here, I won't mention either Tornado or Jessica, of course, that doesn't even know what token ring is.
I miss BBSs.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Bulletin board services. Oh yes.
I don't think they ever should have
Without
gone out
the
of business just because the internet happened.
Yeah.
I mean, people
And
should have kept
actually,
them.
there are
Okay.
BBS systems around still. Some of them use the internet, some of them use phone lines, some of them use radio frequency.
For those who aren't following this,
Yay.
token ring are what the hobbits were trying to return to Mordor.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
Pretty
it.
much. That's how old it is. And it used coax cable, by the way.
The
Well,
heat
we
shield
also-
is getting really gloomy there in the live chat.
Actually,
Yeah.
Heat Shield actually says, actually, Tornado, I have several Ethernet cables underwater. They work really well for tying people to cinder blocks.
Morbid.
Alrighty. Well, let's go to
Yeah,
RJ, who's
Jill,
got
you
his.
just-
Yeah, at the risk of bringing us down to historical reality,
Uh-oh.
the first transatlantic cable was laid in the 1860s, and they were sending those little electron telegraph dots and dashes across the Atlantic and in various places of the
And
world.
just how thick was it?
Oh gosh! Actually, I think they were fairly thick cabling.
Weren't they
The whole
several
thing
feet?
assembling, I think, were like a few inches across. And to make a cable across an entire ocean that way without any transponders or anything, it was just basically a cable on one end, and you send a little signal, and away it goes. Now, in the modern era, we start using those little fiber optic lasery things. So I think almost all of the high-speed telephone cable lines that are laid on the bottom of the ocean are no longer the pure electrical thing, but they're using fiber optics, which brings to mind the possibility that our video guy is an effing idiot.
And to be
RJ,
literal,
we already
all of the
covered that.
communication
Yeah.
underwater
Okay, there we
And
is
if you would have
optical,
been
but,
on time, young man.
I'm sorry. I'm learning geology.
Barnabas,
Crypto.
Mr. Barney here has no idea what a fiber optic cable is, else he wouldn't be making this stupid piece of shit video.
Oh my God, Crypto. Where did you
You
get
just
that?
have to make sure that you don't like rub your fiber optic cables on a cat too much, because it can cause the little fibers to get all fussy.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't want that.
Yeah, you would. Oh, that's
come
just terrible.
on,
Yeah.
Crypto.
You know what? I have to test out that theory now.
Alrighty.
Oh, and I will
we're-
point out that the transatlantic cable and also the cable from Suez to Bombay that was laid in the late 1860s was carried aboard the Great Eastern, the world's largest ship of its time, which figures prominently in the Paralogues of Phileas Fogg novel by yours truly. Ha ha! Shameless
Oh
plug.
no. Here he goes destroying everything.
I wouldn't say
by
shameless.
injecting facts.
That's
Aw.
true. I have, absolutely shameful plug.
Yes. There you go. That's better. Alrighty. Well, let's continue on, shall we?
Yeah. You're
Here
gonna
we
get some
go.
science here, I hope.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
And I also
Oh, and
mentioned in
Tony
my previous
Beijing put-
videos that when we take a breather, we are probably actually connecting to the ether, which is the outer realm. And the Ethernet cable is probably actually connecting to the
Great.
ether.
Of course. Of course he went there.
Of course!
Here.
Yes.
Outer
Yes, tornado.
He
Ow.
just said, when we take a breather, we are connecting to the ether. Did he just fucking say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my... I have to say it. Oh my fucking god, are you dumb?
Yes.
Dum dum dum
he is.
dum.
Is
Yeah.
that a question or a declarative?
That's a declarative.
Okay, just checking.
Because this guy went full spectrum batshit when he brought up the ether. What? Does he think the world is flat too?
Yes, he
I
does
wouldn't put it
actually.
past him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does.
Motherfucker. I could literally pull anything off the top of my head and he would probably believe it.
Yeah, probably.
No,
wish I had my oven
not,
at the
not,
time.
not if it was the world as a globe. No.
Oh well, that's true, Jenny. All right. Well, we also had RJ with the hand up.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get this clear in my head. Now, is it the case then that before Michelson and Morley, the Ethernet was known as the ectoplasm net?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did he not also say something about connecting to the outer realm?
Yeah.
Where his
said
brain
like
lives.
He's confusing ether AETHER with ether
Yeah.
ETHER.
Yeah.
I said that's why I tell you he should study up on his Michelson and Morley and like a little bit about like the physics of 100 years ago.
But why waste time on learning stuff as it actually is
Well, you can just
when
make
you can
shit
just
up.
pull it out your ass?
That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
Or other
and his
people's
ass may be
asses.
sufficiently spacious to accommodate that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are
No
seeing
comments.
a shining example of.
Do we have any
why-
empirical measurements, either in metric or in cubits, for the size of his ass?
No.
Well,
It
there
is
you go.
approximately
This is a
1
project that
gerund.
needs to be resolved, and I know
I
just
have-
what to do with my yardstick when I meet him.
What are we
I
talking
have
about?
no wishes to examining his buttocks. At all.
RJ,
Good to know, Bo. Thanks.
what are we
Yeah.
talking about when we're? What are we talking about endurance for this guy?
Well, first of all, this is so phenomenally pompously stupid that it's actually hitting pretty low on the Gerund index. It's only about 0.83 at the moment.
How is it only 0.83 gerunds?
Shall we
Well,
move on?
Don't
Shall
understand.
shall we continue
Coleslaw's
on
kicking
here?
Mark in the ass.
Yeah.
That's painful.
All
I
right.
think I need to put another oven mitt over my oven mitt.
Yeah.
Gonna need a few of them tonight.
And you can take your oven mitt and you can swing it back and forth and the ether goes to and fro. It's really exciting.
You know, if you get one of those face shields, those clear face shields like they're using today for the COVID, you actually only need one mitt.
Well, but you have to remember that shields you from the ether.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ether particles won't make it through that plastic.
Well, the shield would prevent me from driving my glasses through my forehead.
Yeah, well,
That's true.
which is
Yeah,
probably
that's
a
a
desirable
positive.
circumstance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's continue on, guys.
One Wingster also says, "But wait, guys, it gets dumber." Oh, it
Ether.
does, he says disingenuously.
I want to see him
Cable,
talk
right?
about the
It
alien
just
I
doesn't
have
make
no
sense.
doubt.
Why don't
Here
they
we
call it
go.
internet cable? No, they call it Ethernet cable. And if you haven't watched my video, please watch it. I'm going to link it in the video description
there's a
below.
big
Correct.
difference.
This cable doesn't really make any sense. It is not connecting you to the internet, it connects you to the ether. Here's the second meaning of ether. The meaning that was once
Motherfucker!
God.
Oh, I love that
I'm-
blowing himself to smithereens with his own image.
Yeah.
I'm
That was
getting
once
more
supposed.
stupid.
Oh dear.
my.
Anyway,
You know
let's
the
go
old
to.
My
song
liver
that
shrinking,
the
it's my
mind is
brain.
is a terrible thing to waste?
Yeah.
His isn't.
Let's go over to Tornado, who had the drink call on that one.
Of course, nobody else could be heard over his shouting.
Why? Why?
Tornado on the back. Give him some sympathy, Mom Nado.
I did. Every single word out of this guy's mouth just cements him further and further into my rating scale, which puts him at least 10 gerunds. He just confused an Ethernet cable with the Michelson-Morley ether. They are not equivalent. It's just called an Ethernet cable because we called it an Ethernet cable, and it plugs from your computer into the modem or router, or as you phrased it, the internet box.
I just said that, Tornado.
I know it bears repeating because this
No,
guy.
no, it really doesn't. I really don't. Maybe for this guy, but not for our group here. They're pretty smart.
Sir,
Yeah.
if you don't know your technological jargon from your pseudoscience crapola, then maybe you should do the world a favor and keep your fucking mouth shut.
In other words, you want him to never speak. I get that.
Yeah. Mom NATO, you had your hand up.
Okay. Like everybody's been saying, he's confusing the Ethernet and the internet. And the thing that he's calling the internet cable that plugs into the internet box, which is also calling the Ethernet cable. Yes, it connects your modem in your computer unless you have a wireless LAN system.
Like me.
Yeah, so you don't need a cable. But your modem, which is connected to the actual internet through a coaxial cable, he's not even talking the right terms and the right cables. So
Yep.
just
Of course
oh my
not.
God.
He's a lying sack of dude.
He's making shit up to make a video.
You know what I have to say?
Can we call it now and not have to watch the rest of this stupid and choose a different video?
Wrong.
I say I.
No.
No.
Why not?
Damn.
Well, let's see where he takes us.
No.
Maybe he'll have a revelation.
I think he's got some kind of science coming up, and there's going to be some big science.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Hey, I can make
Okay.
jokes, okay?
Okay, Jess.
That was a knee
have,
slapper.
you have to have some
And
more
I
beer or
have
something else
so-
to drink.
Yeah. That will happen when I gain the ability to fart so violently that I can fly
Ooh,
by
that sounds exciting.
farting that. Yeah, it's just no.
We've gone from
No.
4 to 8 drinks. Now
Yeah,
let's get exponential.
He will talk real science when Tornado gets laid.
I don't want to know when that is.
This is about the
Theological time here, Mom NATO?
Yes.
Okay.
All
This is
right.
about the internet, so we must deal with more dumb.
Yes,
Okay.
more dumb. All of the dumb.
You know what?
Yay.
I have to make the joke here. This guy is plugged in. This guy is plugged by the shitternet cable into the idiot box.
You know what, Tornado?
No, that
I
doesn't
don't think
work
that's not even a joke. I think you're right.
No, because the idiot box is the TV.
Is Mordom
Well-
the low rent neighborhood of Mordor?
Yes.
Well, the TV has evolved or devolved into the what is it? YouTube University is what I wanted to say.
Has anyone
Yeah.
noticed the exciting irony of the little motto on the screen? Start learning this word.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Moving on.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right, let us continue on.
Supposed
Did
to
you do
fill
it?
all
Let's say we
space
did.
and to support the propagation of electromagnetic waves, an intervening substance through which signals can travel as means for communication. Intervening substance? What are they talking about? Here's another meaning. The fifth and highest element of
Yes, Mom NATO.
Okay, we no longer use electronic waves to transmit through the internet. It's all fiber optics, so it uses lasers. Oh my
Oh no,
God.
there are a lot of people who get the satellite internet.
Yeah, but even that, yeah.
It doesn't require the ether.
Yeah.
It's radio waves, photons. Photons do not need to travel via a sort of mystical propagation medium. Photons will propagate wherever the hell they want to. Medium be damned.
Let's go over to Bo, who has his hand up.
Yeah. Let's just read the whole damn quote, shall we? Get some
Bless you.
time.
That was cute.
The fifth and highest so-called elements after air and earth and fire and water, which of course are not frickin' elements. At best, you can call them compounds of elements. You know, whatever. You won't. It'll go right over his head. This is the clinker or clincher. Yeah, clincher was believed to be the substance composing all heavenly bodies. Ta-da! There you go.
How many toes do you think this guy has?
None.
Oh, never mind.
But of course, reading the whole thing Why would you want to do that if it breaks apart your feeble attempt of lying to people? Like I said, I am confident that he is a liar. He knows what he's saying is not true.
I do
He's
apologize.
a jackass. He is a moron. So yeah.
I love
him
One Wing
in the
Sparrow's comment. I love One Wing Sparrow's comment in the chat. Obviously, the fifth element was heart, dumbasses, and she has red hair and revealing medical strips as an outfit, and her name was I'm not sure what it was. Wasn't it Mila?
Lilu.
Yeah, Lilu. What was her voice actress's name?
Mia Jovovich.
Yeah.
Mia Jovovich or something like that.
Yeah, that's correct pronunciation.
Yeah. And her name was Lilu, and her actress was Mia Jovovich.
And her surname, according to herself, it was Multipass. If I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Well, let's head on over to RJ with his hand up.
Yeah. I just want to, since we're on this wonderful fellow who is ignoring the last 120 years of science and imagining that he knows about electromagnetic waves, I can assure him every electron has an easy way of getting around without worrying about its medium, because each little electron links its little arm with the next little electron. And if you get really close to the little electrons that are coming out of your plugs and that, you can hear their little song, hey ho, it's up to where we go.
And there's our copyright strike.
Except it is in their own language, and that would be pronounced.
That's translated into ready kilowatt.
Yeah.
And
Moving on.
I do apologize for sneezing so loudly into the mic.
No, it was very cute.
That's fine.
And by the way, by sneezing, you have made so much more sense than this.
Exactly. Your one sneeze is 8 times the information content of this video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my
Heat
God.
shield.
Just thought you need to know, in case you need to have a
fucking
conversion factor to be able to convert one back and forth to another.
Okay.
Heat shield.
You take notes.
It's easier just to say Lilu. I am not going to say that fucking mouthful.
Okay, now we know this is a measurement of our complete geekdom, that we all know everything you could possibly want to know about the fifth element.
All right, let's continue on.
Even
Everybody.
Purple says, I have no idea how to pronounce
Plus, it's got the late Ian Holm in it. That's also great.
Yeah, I even have it on my computer. I can pop it in now and watch it.
All right,
I like the
let's
movie. If a
continue
person
on
doesn't like the
anyway.
fifth element, screw them.
Yes.
After air
Bruce
and
Willis.
Oh, all right, continuing on.
I like Mom NATO's
Moving
suggestion.
on.
Let's watch Lilo and Stitch instead.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
really.
don't think so. All right,
I think
here
we're
we go.
doing a good job of
But
delaying, though.
Here we go.
it's
here we go,
founded
here we
on
go.
much better science.
Can't we watch like Lord of the Rings instead?
Shh.
earth and
This might
fire
be the
and
right time to
water
watch Lilo
was
and
believed to
Stitch,
be the substance
because it's-
composing all heavenly bodies. You see what I mean? There's no reason to call the Ethernet cable an Ethernet cable if it is not connecting to the ether, right? Do you think when we have a Skype call and we see each other on video and webcam,
I just
No, drink. No. This is just too stupid to comment
no,
on.
No, that's not what I'm commenting on.
Chug.
What? Shut the fuck up. What is that little black spot that is showing on everything in this video? Because it is driving me nuts every time.
That's his mouse cursor.
I'm guessing it's his cursor.
No, no, it's not, because I've seen the mouse cursor. And it just,
I don't see any
whatever
other
that-
black dot.
Okay, see where it says an intervening substance through which signals can travel? Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. If
Oh.
you slide directly right from the communication word, keep going, stop, right there.
Oh,
Right underneath the V.
Yeah,
know
that's
what?
his mouth.
if
Okay,
actually, if I
That's
were
his
to
brain
guess,
pimple.
okay.
it
That's all I
might just
wanted
have
to
been what I don't know how he does his research, but maybe it's just because he takes a screen grab of everything he wants to lie about, and then pulls them up, and his mouse cursor just happens to be in the frame when he makes a screen
Okay,
dump.
That's all I
Yeah.
wanted to know because that is
Could be.
driving me fucking nuts.
of the thing that comes from the place that he doesn't believe exists.
I
that
keep
kind of thing.
wanting to get my
Smacking
my
Next to the
Screen-
idiot
screen-
bug.
No,
cleaner.
mom, they do have some fairly
Yeah.
effective medications for OCD nowadays.
I know they do.
Hey,
I know they
I'm just
do.
surprised that Pence's head isn't in the frame either.
Yeah.
Pence is a pimple. Let's move
Also,
on.
heat shield. Are you classified as human? Negative. I am a meat popsicle.
All right, let me just get this all set here.
Ooh,
we
Wooden
go.
Toad warns it's the black spot. It means he'll die in 24 hours.
Yay.
Alrighty.
About which we will have no sympathy whatsoever for him.
Yeah.
We'll
All
all
right.
clap if
Let's let him
you're
dig
happy.
a big
Let's,
hole for himself first.
Yeah,
All right,
let's,
This
let's,
next
Ooh,
one.
let's see
well,
if
if we
we can
talk
get
about
through.
big holes, because eventually going to be a black hole, and then we'll know where to put the dot.
Oh my
need a black
goodness.
hand?
All right, here we go.
That
It's submarine cable. Is that even
Well-
the actual terminology?
Yeah,
for
yes,
cable?
it is.
Some
Submarine
people
Actually,
call it
underwater.
that, so that is
I
fair
just
enough.
wanted to make sure. But
Back in the
um,
1860s, it was called the Submarine Ocean Telegraph. So there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
But he's acting like it's impossible for us to have this cable.
Everyone's saying all audio
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah, I know. It's back now.
Okay, submarine
Oh, too
cables.
bad for the audience.
Submarine
miss
cables
much.
are just absurd.
Yeah.
The U.S. and Russia have had cordless submarines since the 90s.
Oh boy, and that's even
Yeah.
And we're
that's
actually
even-
watching a picture of
90s.
people trying to haul the dental floss in to go after the giant kraken that lives off of shore.
And Purple, you have won the internet tonight.
One-winged sparrow. It's not it's not harikari. It's harakiri.
Oh, we're getting bad reviews here. Jin and
so-
Zhu.
so
Oh,
now
it's
we've
the
moved
film's
from-
gone mute. Okay, all better.
Now we've moved from speaking in quotes from the Fifth Element to the same, but from the Goonies now.
And, you know,
It's not data, Mom. It's data.
we also
Oh boy.
don't. I mean, we've had submarines for a long time, but you know, the bread gets squishy when it goes into the water.
Ew. All right, let us continue on. Y'all
I
set?
couldn't help myself. Sorry.
Yeah.
I guess.
All
Unfortunately.
right, here we go.
it's expensive work, so why do it? Look at this. It's so ridiculous. These are actors, right?
No.
And they are showing
No.
us that this is the cable that we are communicating through the
No,
ocean.
it isn't.
And you need manual
one of
labor
them.
to make this happen, right? I mean, this
Yeah.
is
Right.
just
Oh,
unbelievable.
my
Not
God.
You
So-
don't
so
just
how-
feed, you idiot.
how does this make it impossible or whatever?
I
It
don't
doesn't.
know.
Fuck.
Yes, tornado.
That is not how a cable is laid. At best, that looks like what? Something you. If it is how that is how those cables are laid, it's probably not though. In fact, my guess is
It
they're
is, actually.
It is.
They thread it through
Yeah.
a pipe. Mm.
I mean, they have. Hey, of course, when they lay undersea cables or submarine, whatever you want to call it, in the ocean, they of course use purpose-built ships. In fact, we have quite an industry in our country for that type of thing. But they have to work hard. The difficult part is the slow and tedious part is going from the closest part. The closest those ships can get to the shoreline and to land. That's the slow and tedious part. So yes, this is quite some labor-intensive work. That
But
part
then
is.
again, this guy is claiming, "Oh, it's all fake. It's all a hoax based on nothing."
No. Haven't you been paying attention? His go-to evidence is, "Come on, you guys, look at it." Yeah, that's basically it.
Pretty much.
Well, that's always his
It looks fake.
go-to evidence.
Oh yeah. It's obviously fake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tornado, put your hand down.
Alrighty. Well, let us continue on then, shall we?
This wonderful march down memory lane with
All
something
right.
that's not true.
Yay.
Here we go.
99% of international data is transmitted by wires at the bottom of the ocean called submarine communication cables. Point second, sharks
drink.
are trying to eat the internet.
hold on.
I mean,
All right.
Yeah, here we go.
He
I mean,
read-
come on.
He read that wrong. He said
Yes.
89.
So what? Come on.
No, he
Surprise,
said
surprise.
99.
Yeah. Let's we're gonna go for a whole minute. Okay.
Fun.
All right. Here we go. Don't bash your heads in.
give me a break.
Too late.
Let's have a look at this. So they are showing us that there is this cable under the ocean, and there's the shark coming, and he just wants to bite it through because, you know, it looks like fish or something. I mean, honestly, why would a shark go to the internet cable and want to dismantle it? You know, like, what the
Because
fucking
they
sense
wanna
in this?
get
You know,
Netflix
this is a
for
fucking
free,
actor. This shark
idiot.
is an actor. Nothing else. It's just an actor.
An
Third, the
actor?
internet is as vulnerable underwater
Hold
as it
on.
is
I
underground.
wonder
Really.
if that shark
Connecting the world
is
through
a member
undersea
of the
cables
Actors
isn't
Guild.
exactly new, and they have this map here.
No,
So
he's
this is
a
an
member of
old
the
cable
Actors Guild.
showing submarine telegraph lines between America and Europe. So they are trying to tell us that when we make a phone call on a landline, it actually goes through these thousands of miles of cable to reach America. Give me a fucking break. 18
Well, not
Break.
anymore.
Alrighty.
Well, primarily, yeah.
Telephones are satellite communication now.
Now
Well,
we've made it a
if
whole
We
minute.
can use it.
Okay.
I think it's above 95% of all telecommunications between continents is via cable, optical cable. Some of it is using satellite, but mostly for those areas where there are no physical lines. For example, the Arctic.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a big reason why the Australians all have such bad internet.
And ridiculously expensive internet connections, I might
I
add.
just want to know how do they make their transatlantic telephone calls in 1880? I don't know.
Also,
And how awful was their internet connections?
Absolutely. That was the reason why there was so much trouble in the 19th century, because the internet in 1880 couldn't get a proper signal on the ether because it was clouded up by all the coal soot.
Obviously.
Yeah. Here, now it's all making sense to me now.
Come on, you guys.
And another tidbit for the folks in the chat who aren't old enough to remember this personally, like RJ and I are.
Yeah.
The first satellite was that handled transatlantic communication was a Telstar in 1963, 64,
Yeah.
65, 64, I think.
It looked like a little cute spinny thing.
Yeah, yeah, and
Didn't it recently crash to Earth?
I
I don't know.
That one didn't, I would imagine.
Okay.
Okay, well, that proves the transatlantic cables. Otherwise, how did we have the internet before the 1960s?
Oh, and,
Carrier
by the
pigeon.
way,
Yep.
there are many satellites that crash in fall back to Earth every single year.
Mm-hmm.
as well.
also,
And I
my
hope
hand
they
is
all
up.
go where this guy lives.
and Purple to actually honor you with an answer to your question. Before what date did you say? The 1860s?
The transatlantic cable first, I think it was either 1868 or
Yeah,
69.
yeah.
It was a big
The-
new thing.
The Before that, it was all handled by balloon spiders. They would carry
Yes, there we
messages
go.
across the Atlantic, which is why we call it the web.
Ooh.
I'm sorry.
And you have just made an argument that is 12 times more logical and reasonable than this guy's video.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Thank you.
I can tell you that map has got to be fake because every time I've seen that France place, it ain't pink.
Hello, my hand is up.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Is it getting cold? It's
Blood
all
rushing
blue.
away from your little fingertips.
Yeah,
Does anybody actually train sharks?
I think
Is
so.
there-
But
is
yeah,
there like-
well, the problem is to get the
well,
union card for that damn
Fine, I'm
shark
not gonna
actor.
talk.
Alrighty. That's fine.
It is Tornado's turn.
Go
It
ahead,
is.
Tornado.
It is. Tornado can.
Yeah, but this guy was saying, one Wing Zero said, he was sitting there saying that sharks are actors, and sharks mean that undersea cables don't exist. That's his entire argument right there. And let us remember that sharks have electroreceptors. So, of course, they're going to notice the interesting things going on underwater. Like that fancy telephone line that's all lit up according to the shark's electroreceptors. Then they nibble on it and think, oh, that doesn't taste good. I'm going to leave that alone. And
It
so
is,
it swims off on its will merry way, because when sharks do their first bite, whether on a human or on an internet cable, they're testing it, if you will. That's what most shark attacks are. Is the shark gets a little curious, it decides to quote nibble, and then it goes off on its merry way.
You also have to remember that it never wants to get its hands dirty, so it just uses its mouth instead.
Bo.
Yeah, I know.
Mom Nato, you had your hand up.
I find it interesting that, yes, he's saying that sharks are actors. That's kind of like, what the fuck? Who does he think trains a shark, which tends to bite humans? They're not.
Well, see, that was my
trainable.
question.
They're not trainable.
It's
But-
clearly the crabs.
I'm sure that there are species of sharks that you can condition into a specific task. For example, what aquariums all over the world use. They condition them to touch a red ball on a stick, for example,
Right.
and they use that so that they can inspect them for health reasons and so on. But that's conditioning. It's not exactly training them.
Right.
Because
Why do crabs walk sideways and lobsters walk straight?
Well, it all has to do with sexual orientation.
no,
Thanks,
it's
RJ.
because they know that that people don't like having crabs, so they want to try and get rid of you. And everybody knows, except for those in horror movies, that the best way to run away from something is by running, 90 degrees in perpendicular to the direction towards them. So they run sideways instead of carry on.
Yes. Well, RJ, you had your hand up.
Yeah. I was just trying to riff off of the air quotes logic of this little guy here. So it will explain some ideas. The idea that the sharks are actually actors. That could explain Sharknado. And then we also got to think about those pesky little cephalopods, Octopussy. So when we start working on this, maybe there is kind of an argument to be made there if we all drink way more than just 17 times.
Cephalopods are aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was a science paper on that by somebody who's not much of a cut above this guy.
All right. Well,
would that have been in the Journal of Irreproducible
Almost.
Results?
It was one of these little oddball jokes. Just to shock everybody, we're not making this up. that there was a bunch of Ramachandran, a guy that was connected to Fred Hoyle, was fielded a bunch of people in a relatively obscure journal where they were arguing that supposedly the genes of cephalopods was showing that they were actually aliens and not related to any actual organism. This, needless to say, did not get a very serious rating by most other scientists.
Yeah, I saw a video on that.
Yeah. It sort of hit the fan in a quick way a few years ago and is about as scientific as this video.
No, it's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's
don't
continue
use that
on.
word when we're looking at his videos. It kind of.
How far are we, man? You think it's possible because of that man's horribly annoying accent that it could be run like a 1.5 speed or something?
I feel like it gets a little distorted then.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? That would be a problem.
That really is a beautiful document he's got, though, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Well, you mean we can't do this we can't do this narrated by Alvin and the Chipmunks?
Yes, there we go.
Yeah. All right. We'll try
Theodore?
that. All right, here we go.
In 6 days, say. So they already laid the line here. Lay lines. What if these cables are actually ley lines? They laid the lines. So then I found this official submarine cable map, which they were referring to from that article.
Laid.
And I was able to zoom in a little bit more and see how these ley lines are actually connecting the different continents. You know, these are probably ley lines, as I said, nothing else. And there are no cables. You know, just think about it. You are sending a signal from here, from London, to, let's say, New York. And within less than a second, you have this here, and it is thousands of miles. Do you think this is really possible? Now, let me tell you something else here. If this was even possible, it wouldn't be possible on a globe Earth, because the globe Earth is always rotating and always moving around the solar system. So this movement would twist all the cables. So this would only be possible on a flat Earth. Anyway, but I digress. Look at these ridiculous lines. I mean, why on Earth?
All right, we should pause it there.
Oh boy, I think he's gonna break the internet.
Oh man!
And why is he obsessing about the Atlantic? You know, the Pacific cables are much longer, and have to get over the Marianas Trench.
And I tell you, why is he slatting the Indian Ocean? I mean, what did the Indian Ocean ever do to him?
Yeah, and
the
globe spinning. Go ahead, Jenny.
I was just going to say they probably called him up and told him that he needed to have his computer repaired. And took him for a bunch of money.
That's true. A bunch of gift cards. Yeah, just the Earth spinning is going to tangle up the cables is what. That was dumb.
Tornado's itching to say something.
Yes, Tornado.
Because of course he had to go for the flat Earth. I brought that up as a sort of stupid. What if he says this kind of thing? And I was proven to be prescient when I said that, because this guy actually said that the cables would become twisted if the Earth was rotating. Therefore, these cables could only be laid on a flat Earth, and hence all space is fake. This man does indeed believe every conspiracy theory under the sun, including such a stupid conspiracy theory as bees do not exist because honey is artificial. That's just something I made up. But if I made that up and tried to convince him of it, he would believe it. And that's dumb. Here's the thing.
He is dumb.
Earth rotates at 0.0000694 revolutions per minute. That is
really slowly.
That is so slow, it's not even worth considering. And did it even occur to this guy that the reason we experience things normally on Earth that we always do isn't just because the Earth is actually rotating way slower than he thinks it is, but also that we are on the same inertial reference frame. Hello, this is basic physics. Someone who at least made it to biological adulthood should be able to understand this, and the fact that you seem to think it's all a big lie just says to me that you don't know how to do science.
Well, it may be that these only actually referring to the cables that run north-south instead of the ones that run east-west, as far as those that get twisted up and stuff.
No, he flat out said that all undersea cables would get twisted.
I have a question.
Like a big...
So Sorry, RJ. Just real quick, I have a question. I just want to. Isn't it a common thing that flat earthers, especially, tend to get the Earth rotating versus the Earth orbiting thing kind of like jumbled together? Like, I feel like they kind of mix everything. You know what I mean?
They don't believe it's doing either.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
It's just a
I don't
flat
know.
pancake on top of the turtle.
I just feel like they kind of just mix it all together. Like, it's not just the, it can't be just the Earth spinning or the Earth's orbit. It's just all a mush. It just does all of these things all at once at the same speed.
I thought there was elephants
Actually,
standing on top of
it'll
the
be
turtle.
slower.
Ooh.
Yeah, and
You
it'll be
heretic,
slower because
you.
of the mud floods. So, yeah, there's that too.
Let's go over to RJ with his hand up.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I have
RJ.
a horrible image to present to you.
Oh, no.
If this fellow and Claudia were to have a love child, do you know what that child would say to them?
What?
No, what?
Mom, Dad, stop embarrassing me!
Oh, my God. Thanks, RJ.
And I know we haven't really seen it in this clip, but in this ridiculous video of his, but I hope that if he does in fact have kids, that they will have the sense to one day steal all of his ridiculous caps that he uses.
Yeah.
Baseball caps.
So
Well, you realize if he takes the caps off, you'll find all the little spinning gears and crap underneath there.
Yeah, except that in his case, they won't be spinning.
So are mud floods related to mudbloods and purebloods?
Well, if it doesn't make sense, then definitely to him at least.
To be
Well,
sail
except
on the
he's-
Holy Grail. Let's mix some more metaphors in here.
All right, well, let's continue on, shall we?
Uh-oh. By the way, just how long more of this extraordinary thing do we have to go?
Only 17 minutes.
Okay, we need to be a little bit more prudent in how often
Yeah.
we're calling drink here.
Yeah.
That's true, because at this rate, we're going to exhaust the alcohol supply of the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah. I will not pause
Well,
it before the 2-minute mark, all right?
Okay.
Yeah, I was just saying I bought a full case last night, and I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to get through this.
Just the wheels
Yeah.
are turning, but the hamster is a mummified corpse. There is a wonderful image of his brain.
Oh, my goodness. Thanks, RJ. All right, anyway, here we go.
Would you put these into the canal? So the question is, why can't they actually put the lines under Earth, right? They could just have here, let's say, in Cairo, one center, and from there, they would be able to go through Iraq, Iran, and go to India. Why do you need to lay these lines under the ocean? It just doesn't make sense. And these lines don't even make sense because they don't go straight. They are wasting the lines. Look at that. They are wasting cable. They are not going straight. And they are connecting these
My
ridiculous
hand's up, and I won't
destinations
stop
through
him. I'll let him
non-straight
run for a
lines.
while.
Again, this line is not straight, and yet it's going through Japan and China. I mean, ridiculous.
Oh,
and they
my
here have this diagram to tell us how it is actually working. So they have the submarine cable here, then they have repeaters to connect the submarine cable to submarine cable, and then this is how the submarine cable actually looks like inside. Optical fibers, silicone gel, buffering material, copper sheath, and all the rest of it. Now let me show you something else here. There is Argentina and Falkland Islands, which is close to the so-called Antarctica. And as you can see, it seems like there is no internet cables to Falkland Islands or nothing, to the end of Argentina. And yet on nightearth.com we can see these lights lighting up next to Falkland
doesn't
Islands. There is
know the
no island
difference
there.
between
There's
a
no internet
diagram
cable
and
to
a
Falkland Islands.
photograph.
And yet some people are using the lights at night over the ocean, yeah? There's almost no lights in Argentina, but the ocean is full of it. So what is going on here? And then look at this. Does this really make sense, having the cables like this? Why do they connect to here rather than here? That would be the closest. From Jakarta, they could connect it right here, but they choose to connect it even further because that makes sense, right? And again, here's another cable making no sense connecting two.
All right.
My
we're-
brain hurts.
Oh
We,
boy, there's
we
so
made
much.
it we made it 2 minutes, but yeah, we needed to call a drink at that point.
Yeah.
Can I go?
Yes, RJ had his hand up first.
I thought
Yeah.
migraines were bad. Holy crap.
I'll say part of the thing is that those lines to Australia are not what used to be the case in the old days. There were different cable connections. I researched this for the new Phileas Fogg novel, so I happen to know that the first cable line to Australia was way up in Darwin, which was like the middle of nowhere. No one lived there. The reason why they put the cables to the cities where they are is because there's people there. And it makes it a little easier. But
really?
I'd like to tell you a little thing going down memory lane when he asked why they weren't laying these cables on the land. You know that in the old days, they had what were called telephone lines. And those telephone lines, in order for you to telephone somebody, like from Spokane over to Seattle, you had to use a phone line that was physically connecting the two places. That's what it meant, you nincompoop, you pus-ridden fiddle brain, you sorry excuse for a metazoan. How dare you even attempt to breathe the atmosphere? You are polluting it by your very existence. There, I'm going into a little bit of a tornado mode there.
It's all good, RJ. You're allowed.
Can we add on to the fact that those telephone lines got repurposed to be General Electrical lines?
Yeah, he seems to be confusing electric with internet as well, which is...
And by the way, they used to do exactly the same thing with telegraph lines. Anybody that has seen a photograph of a 19th century city will see telegraph lines strung everywhere on a scale that would be really unpleasant. Eventually, they basically started burying telephone lines underground because they were really unsightly and annoying. And the same thing with power cables and other things. So I have the sneaking suspicion this guy is just head up his ass ignorant of everything that existed prior to like 1990.
Well, we had Mom NATO with the hand up next.
Yeah, well, let's also discuss the fact when he's saying, why not just run them across the land? It's called something called country borders and not having the right kind of clearance to run them across the land, not to mention they're unsightly. Nobody wants those.
But the problem is they did do that.
There. Right, but I'm talking about the huge cables that he's talking about.
Right.
You've got roads and they can't, there are certain places where the terrain, they're just not able to lay these cables across the land. That's why they went through the ocean in the first fucking place. This guy is just...
Nobody really would worry about telephoning Madrid to Paris by using a transatlantic cable.
Right, exactly.
That the only reason why you had those is because you needed to be able to communicate extremely long distances. So when they laid the transatlantic cables to begin with for telegraph lines, it was like the internet of the 19th century. You went from where the latest news was months out of date to instantaneous communication, and you were hearing news in that vast telegraph network.
Right.
I think this poor little schnook. Well, it's very possible he doesn't believe a damn thing he says. He's just been doing this just for the message. In which case, he needs to be impaled on a spike.
Right, which is like people getting telegraphs from family members in New York, and they live in Palm Beach.
So you want him hoisted on his own Picard?
Yes. As long as there aren't any Vulcans around.
Yeah, now in the early 20th century, then you started having wireless telegraphy, which had its limitations because of radio waves. You still had an enormous amount of electronic cabling that needed to be done because most information was very expensive to be sent. If you're going to send up, even in the original telegraph system, I think it was like $1 per letter. In 1860s money, I mean, that was pricey.
Wow.
To send a telegram across the Atlantic.
Yep.
All right, well, let's head over to Jenny with the hand up.
I agree.
Yep.
Okay. How much have you been drinking?
Yeah.
Nothing. I've just been listening to Barnabas. That's what it does.
That's true. That could have a corrosive effect. Worse than. Don't worry about if a shark comes in and starts biting on you. They're actors.
Yeah. All right. And Bo, you had your hand up?
Yeah. I'm surprised that none of you have mentioned this yet, so I'll just do it then. You have the the single most important reason why the undersea, underwater, I almost said subterranean. These internet cables, these phone cables, these power cables, whatever they may be, the single most important reason why they hit land in the places that they do hit the land at is because of already existing infrastructure.
Right.
Population centers.
That is the single most important reason why.
Right.
You need it. And also, if we look at the northwest cable that we see it going to Australia, that is splitting up right before it hits. I think that's the north one is. I think that's a city called Onslow, or at least close to it. Close-ish. Australia is a big continent. The reason, a good reason for why it splits up right before hitting that, and then going further down, is something called redundancy. You might want to have a bit of redundancy,
right?
Maybe, I don't know. So,
and also, this is a
net
representation. Yeah. This is not necessarily a schematic of the exact line of how it runs physically. In the same way that this idiot might think that the London subway map is a literal map of how the lines run. No, it's just a so that straight line north of what I think is Sydney, on the east side of the thing, probably is running out to sea. If it's an Atlantic cable, it's not running across the land and then suddenly disappearing down into the water. The reason why so many of these other lines are on separate lines is to distinguish them as separate lines. If they were all put together, it'll look like a skein of fabric rather than a thing. They want to indicate that there's a green line and a purple line that relates to different companies and so forth and so on. So I don't think this guy necessarily knows quite how to read symbolic map.
You think?
Yeah. And also, as a matter of fact, the London Underground, before the map system that they use to this day still, before that was introduced, the London Underground map was practically useless.
Oh, yeah.
It was ridiculous jumble, and you almost had to be an expert in the what do you call it? Cartography.
Yeah.
The layout of the city to make sense. Well, to try and make sense.
There's Wikipedia pages and articles and stuff on this. If you really are fascinated by the whole point of cartography and what it means to have a map, that it was one of the great map designs of all time, because it was telling you what you needed to know, which is how to find what station to get off. And the actual physical layout of how the tracks were laid underground was utterly irrelevant. All you need to know is to where the stations are. And
exactly.
The idiot apparently doesn't know that he's looking at a map that is not a topographical map of transatlantic cables. It's a interconnection list of cables.
It's a diagram, a
like
simple
subway.
explanation of how this stuff is connected, not where it is.
Sorry for trying. Bo and I are conveying actual information here. We do apologize to our audience.
Exactly. How dare you? Purple, you had your
we
hand
get
up?
Get sucked into it. When you have this
RJ,
black hole of stupid, you just have to
RJ and I just feel RJ and I just feel the need to think of the children. It's just
indeed.
I just want the record to show that before the wheel was spun, I wanted to discuss laser-armed penguins, but you people insisted on this.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, if there was a line from that Australia down to the so-called Antarctica, we would definitely be talking about your laser penguins and the conspiracy that they have to sink every single ship that goes into that area, except for all the ones that manage to go into that area.
And
I just think that he's
like
spouting off. Shut up, Paul. I think he's just spouting off because he only recently found out that the Atlantic cables are trans.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh man. All right. Let's continue on, shall we?
If we must.
Here we go.
It is over the ocean. in a non-linear line. Here's the Vocus Australia-Singapore cable laying the lines, you know, the ley lines through this ridiculous ship. And here's the map closer from Singapore going through this little channel, going through Christmas Island, going to Perth. Why not go to Port Hedland? It's much closer. Well, they chose to go to Perth, right? They are mocking us. None of it is real. 4,600 kilometer cable, right? But this UTP cable has the maximum length of 100 meters. Here's an interesting video I found from the motherboard inside the beach house connecting the world's internet.
Well, the cable terminating here from the US is 7,500 kilometers. We've had a fall between Sweden and Bornholm where our cable took a hit from an anchor. This one shows the damaged cable section. Cable has been twisted, and this is what happens when it's been hit by an anchor and dragged along the seabed. The armoring wires that should have been surrounding the inner core of the cable is amiss. The important thing, of course, is the fibers that transport all the data. We have a cable caught on a cable from here to the US. I mean, there's no data. There's no connectivity. You cannot go and think that a lot of people depend on what you're doing. But really, more than 90% is caused by fishing gear and anchors in shallower waters.
And the remaining 10% are sharks, of course.
Oh yes, all those sharks, all the time. The rear marker and the front marker. If you look at them from the ocean side and they're aligned, then you know that you are actually right on top of the cable. So if you're about to anchor, or if you're a fishing vessel about to deploy your fishing gear, you might wait until you're clear of the cable.
Did you say most ships observe this and obey these markers, or do they ignore them?
It is our hope that they watch them and obey them.
Alrighty, let's.
You might want to make those markers a little bigger and a little more obvious.
Well, they are on charts as well.
All right. Well, I know we had Tornado with the drink call in the video there, so let's head on over there first.
Why, yes, because this man is sitting there always claiming, "Oh, gee, it's all fake. They're mocking us." No, that's where existing infrastructure is. And also, as RJ put it, underwater topography. There are many reasons why some people would lay a cable where it does not intuitively don't expect it to go. There are many reasons, again, underwater topography or existing infrastructure or, say, money. Like
or say that the population of Perth is 10 times that of the other little place.
Yeah, which also falls into existing infrastructure. You notice that most of the big fancy lines tend to be put where people live, right, Mr. Barney the Derposaur?
RJ, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I suspect that some of the people in our audience may not be completely familiar with our nincompoops reference to ley lines.
Mm-hmm.
This is spelled Ley. If you look up the lore of it, a variety of early 20th century nincompoops were arguing that there were mystical supernatural lines connecting various monuments and sacred spaces and mountains like your Stonehenge and large pieces of real estate that have this vast interconnecting grid, and that you can detect these with your standard dowsing rod and so forth and so on. However, in this fellow's case regarding ley lines, I think it is fair to say that this fellow stands a really poor chance of ever being laid.
Yeah, I think you're pretty accurate on that, RJ. Ah, dear.
And he called them ley lines because they were laid down.
Well, I think it actually comes from like Celtic or whatever, and you can look up various books that were done or occult literature that just goes on and on about this. I think, yipes, not Sitchins, but the other guy that always talks about super civilizations in the past.
Melchizedek.
No. Oh, he's a British guy. Still, I always forget his name because my mind blanks out on him. Hitchens or something like that. Anyway, he prattles on that these ley lines extend all the way around the globe in a gigantic network, a geodesic network, and so he's connecting the Easter Island and Nan Madol and all these other places around the world, and so it expands. But there's no significance to any of this stuff. It's all just made up shit.
Didn't Eric Clapton write a song about this in the 70s? Ley lines.
Oh, he could well have, and it would have more scientific content than this fellow's video.
I believe you're talking about Jordan.
No, Eric Clapton.
Talking about RJ.
No. I can just never remember his name. I can see his face. He's got a website, and I have a bunch of his books floating around in there. But he's just an annoyingly superficial fellow, and he's been around doing stuff for the last 25 years or so. But I literally forget his name every time because he's a drip.
Does he also think that Jews are from space?
No, that is not one of their viewpoints, although they do have kind of the idea of it sort of intersects a bit with the sacred bloodline notions and superior people and all that stuff. But that's on a side issue on there. You get there. I'll tell you, there is no shortage of whack and fucknuttery out there in the world of fucknuttery.
Continue on with the fucknuttery.
Yeah.
Get it over with.
All right, let's continue on, shall we?
With the fucknuttery.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of things, a lot of infrastructure that is a potential target. And maybe that's also the reason why there's no big signs on the building. So this is the cable coming in from the outside, from a beach manhole entering the building. We have the fiber cable and power cable. As simple as that. 7,500 kilometers, and now it's here. I find it hard to believe intelligence agencies would try to tap information here. As I see it, that wouldn't make any sense.
So he's saying 7,500 kilometers is between US and EU, and it takes for the data to travel through the 7,500 kilometer 80 milliseconds. Then you can see that this is the same UTP cable that I showed you here. And yeah, this has a maximum length of 100 meters.
No,
otherwise
not
it picks
quite.
up interference. The fiber transporting data, this is fiber, this is made of fiber. Since when this is conductive and transporting data? You know what I mean? And what is Sea Earth? This button.
Hey, well, let's find out. Let's run an 18
He's also saying that
million
the 90% of cable issues happen because of fishing, right? And anchors, what on earth? And oh yeah, all those sharks, he's laughing at it because he knows this is just bullshit and he's an actor, obviously. And they have this whole warehouse set up just for that one fucking cable, right?
God.
You could just go there and snap
Everybody is
it.
an actor.
And then
I
he's saying,
think you
yeah,
are
that's
an
why we don't
actor.
have all those
You're
signs
an
on the
actor.
house. But he lets them film it and then puts it up on the internet. I mean, honestly, it doesn't make sense. There was also a laser danger sign on these one of the boxes. They have these signs so that the ships will see and they wouldn't put their anchors on the bottom of the ocean. And yet, why do you make it so ridiculously non-obvious?
What? Where are those boxes exactly? For the ships to what?
Let's start out with Tornado. He had the drink call earlier on.
Because obviously, if it doesn't make sense, there's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Just because something doesn't make sense to a superficial nutfucker like yourself doesn't mean it's fake, you complete stone fucker.
Yeah.
That sounds painful.
Mom NATO.
But wouldn't we all pay to see him do stone fucking?
I don't
Mom
see that
NATO.
become an Olympic sport.
Okay, you can hear me, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, he's talking about how there's no signs on the building, and all this other shit. It's like, does anybody know or recognize where that building was at? No, nor did they say where that building was at.
Well, I know where it is.
Well, but you know what I'm saying, but most normal, regular people do not know where this building that they're talking about is. So, yeah, no, they don't put the signs on it, you dumb fuck. They don't want people to come in and destroy it or cause problems. And yes, anchors can drag the lines. We've heard about that for years. That's pipelines get destroyed by anchors. I mean, good fucking God.
And just for a simple bit of fact, why not? From the point of the shoreline where the cable comes ashore to where the room that this Danish guy, by the way, where he was showing those boxes, where it comes in and so on and so on. Yeah, that is over half a kilometer away. So, yeah, and yes, it is higher than the sea level, although not by much. But that building still is not visible from any ship,
right?
At all. So no, those boxes cannot be seen, etc., etc. You are a doot because you are constantly lying. You little doot. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
Damn it.
RJ, you had your hand up.
Yeah, well, you got to hand it to the level of the conspiracy that this fellow is hypothesizing. This is way beyond the idea that this vicious cabal has constructed buildings and hired actors, including sharks, for the express purpose of persuading this poor doofus that there is a network of communications cables, but that this conspiracy was going back 150, 160 years to the earliest days of telegraphy on the Atlantic Ocean, and built whole networks of photographs and cable laying ships and giant drums and things and
For
witnesses.
no reason.
Yes, all of which is aimed at to persuade this poor numbskull that something that actually is there is there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This man lives in the 21st century. Think about that.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
This man does not live in
you say?
845. This is not somebody teleported from medieval England who has to have the modern world explained to him. This is a person with a laptop computer sitting at his home, fiddling and talking about stuff that he searched on the internet. And this is how he spends his life communicating stuff to outer people.
And let's not also mention the fact that those cables that they showed in those boxes are totally different than the Ethernet cable that he's holding in his.
Oh, but he held it up, and they look just the same. Don't look too close.
Details.
Yeah,
I
all
still
you're
love the idea of
seeing is-
the paid actor sharks.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
So I'll bet you that whole fishing industry is a scam too. All these pictures of cod and tuna and that, there aren't any. They're all actors. There are no. It's all Soylent Green. There is no fishing industry. In fact, I bet there is no ocean. This is all just digital that's being done by somebody putting cameras up, pointing to their tub and their hot tub. All these oceans are completely and these mountains I hear people tell about. I mean, those are none of this can be real.
Yeah, of course not. No, I completely agree.
I think he's self-oscillating.
Once you get down that little slide, it's so easy. You can resolve absolutely. I bet cows aren't real either. I bet they're all actors.
RJ,
Yeah,
RJ,
milk is fake and stuff.
RJ, have they reduced your Thorazine dosage lately?
Or
he's also
they
suffering
haven't
from
raised it
a
up
fake
enough.
lithium deficiency.
Oh dear.
Holy moly! Does this guy use Velcro on everything because they don't trust him with a shoelace?
Yeah, probably.
I don't even think they would trust him with Velcro.
No, he couldn't pass the training on shoelaces.
Yeah. All right. Shall we continue on?
Tornado.
Let's get to the science.
Sorry, I was using the restroom.
That's
You didn't
all
miss
right.
anything.
Alrighty.
So Tornado just shat out more intelligent than this guy has.
One wing sparrow. This is too
Anyway.
good to pass up. Please tell me you have a link to a video about shape-shifting penis-stealing mailboxes. I need to see this. I think we need to too.
Oh dear. All right, let's continue on before
How
we
do
go
you
down
get
this
the-
rabbit
How does
hole.
the mailbox persuade you to insert your penis?
Anyway, here we go.
You know, like how would ships just see that kind of drawn picture? Why wouldn't you make a lighthouse? You know, some lights definitely can be seen even in the dark. And then he says, yeah, we hope that they obey these signs. So, you know, we have all these cables, important communication for government agencies, and yet they just hope that the ships will follow the signs. I mean, give me a break. Here's another video from IDG TV.
This is what carries your email, videos, and games all around the world. It's an undersea internet cable. It's being made right here in Kitakyushu, Japan, at NEC's OCC factory. The cables come in different varieties, including heavily armored ones, but they all start with bundles of optical fibers. The fibers are wrapped in layers for strength, starting with a steel tube, then steel wires and a copper tube, and finally a polyethylene sheath for water resistance. Enormous spinner machines and spools are needed to create the cables. When they're armored, the cables are wrapped in more steel wires and then asphalt and plastic strings. That makes them pretty tough.
Even though the single armor is just one layer, this is kind of difficult to bend.
Once manufacturing is complete, the cables are spooled into large tanks and then tested for water resistance and other parameters. Dozens of workers are needed to load the cable as well as the large repeater units onto the ship. Once inside, the cable is fed into 3 tanks below the main deck, and they're huge, hot, and humid. The cable has to be looped very carefully to prevent tangles. Next up is the Hector 6, an ROV that can work up to 2,000 meters below the surface of the ocean. It has caterpillar tracks for propulsion, jets to help bury the cable in its trench, as well as robotic arms to manipulate it. It takes a light touch and a lot of patience to install the cable all the way across the Pacific.
9,000 kilometer long cable, and they need manual spooling for this. Really, manual spooling for 9,000 kilometers. And that cable laying vehicle, does that really look like waterproof to you? Honestly. Oh, and the high-tech control room running Windows XP in 2015.
Look waterproof.
Give me a fucking break. Here's another ridiculous video by CBS this morning. And of course, obviously, all of these
like?
I do not want to give you a break for coitus. Thank you.
What does waterproof look like?
I don't know.
It looks dry.
And there we
the
go
other one
with, of
doesn't
course,
look waterproof. He
sorry.
could tell us what it does. Oh, we're 30 drinks.
Moving on.
Tornado, you had your hand up?
Yes, because obviously the Russian vid's defense, give me a fucking break, or look how fake this is, or this is ridiculous, is the best way to refute anything that doesn't remotely match with your expectations. Reality must, of course, conform to your expectations. Otherwise, there's a conspiracy.
Yeah,
is that what I'm hearing from you, Barney? If so, then you'll be pleased to know that reality doesn't fucking work like that.
But come on, man. It's been like this because of they who started all of this, you know, about 6,000 years ago where the universe was created. So, yeah, of course.
Now, of course, here's the big issue. You don't... Just because something doesn't look waterproof to you doesn't mean that it's not. You fucking idiot. Ding!
RJ, you had your hand up?
Yeah, again, we have a certain logical problem with the whole infrastructure notion that he's implying here. So what is he saying? That the people that we saw making the cables in the factory, and that the factory itself either does or does not exist and is or is not making things that are then sent where? Are they making these cables and laying them down physically in troughs and then shipping them off to Walmart where no one ever thinks about them ever again? So this would be a great expose, don't you think there, Jenny? That you could have a fabulous expose thing of all of these fake cable makers that are earning money and making pretend cables that are like going nowhere, not actually doing anything. Wow, what an exposure!
As long as they're in the nude, yeah, it could be an interesting story.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, not if it's Barnaby.
And are we sure they weren't in the nude? Because that, you know, they could be just, you know, digital simulations on there. You know, let's go think about that.
Nude simulations.
Yeah.
Or what? What are we talking about now?
Let's see. Indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah, I love the ease with which people put out wacky conspiracy modes without ever thinking about the implication of just what exactly, how many people are in on this? And you know, you'd almost like to gather together people to actually tell this guy that he is actually correct. That that there is this huge conspiracy, and not only that, all of your neighbors are in on it, and your kids are in on it too. Everybody.
Who do you think is more
the
scary?
whole conspiracy is everybody but you.
Even the janitor at the school where the kids, you know, everybody.
Everybody's actors, all of these. In fact, we've hired actors to pretend to be trees. We've got actors, the ones out there right outside you. All of those grasp things out there aren't really grasp.
Only the cool
They're
trees,
actually
though.
Actors, and they're watching you every night.
Yeah.
And this idiot might believe it. Who knows?
That's
Here's
true.
the thing.
RJ, who do you think is scarier, Barnabas Nagy or a follower of Barnabas Nagy?
Actually, it's the follower.
Yeah,
I've got a
absolutely.
comment.
Hypothesize that Barney is just a shill, a craven nincompoop who's trying to make money at the expense of whatever he can. He'll just bullshit for 20 minutes. But anybody that actually takes him seriously, I don't want them to vote. I don't want them to travel out and talk to people. I don't want them to persuade anybody of anything. They really need to be monitored so that they cannot be an injury to themselves and civilization.
Tornado, you had a comment?
Yes. when a conspiracy requires that everyone but you be in on it, maybe there isn't a conspiracy, and maybe it's just the fact that you're a stupid shit.
Now, if you're going to get all rational on us, Tornado,
Exactly.
You're a spoil sport. If you're going to
there is a technical term for conspiracy that involves everyone but you. It is called a delusion.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's true.
Ta-da.
Or how about a solipsistic conspiracy nut who believes that everybody is in a conspiracy against him, but that they're all an illusion? I know it's
All
meta.
right. It is.
Okay, where do you get your drugs, and can you hook me up?
Oh, you want to know what's really frightening? I'm like this naturally.
All right. Well, let's continue on. I mean, we're getting there. We're like
we're almost to the point of where we're farther than we were before.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. All right, here we go.
Actors.
When you pick up the phone to reach out and touch someone across the oceans, it's only possible because of ships like the Global Sentinel.
This is cable tank number 1.
And what am I standing on right now?
You're standing on fiber optic cable that's going to be laid from here towards Brazil.
This is how worldwide communication begins. Jeff Sanders is a captain at TE Connectivity Subcom, which calls itself the world's largest provider of under-ocean fiber optic cable.
They're coiling it the same way they did in the 1800s.
He gave us a rare view of more than 900 miles of cable spooled tightly by hand in one of 3 side-by-side tanks aboard the ship anchored in the port of Newington in New Hampshire. So the cable we're walking on right now will be under the ocean carrying my phone calls?
Yes, it will. It's a good chance any call you make to South America in the future could be on this exact cable for the next 20, 25 years. Cable comes right off into the ocean from here.
Robots take over from there, diving to a depth too deep for humans. The machines use water jets to create a trench, allowing the cable to sink into the seabed and become buried.
95% of all telephone and data is transferred over submarine cables.
Not satellite.
Not satellite.
It's what allows us to rely on instant everything. Phone calls, banking, web surfing, email, streaming video, and other communication.
Heavy case?
And it all began 150 years ago.
We have here samples of the early cables from the 1850s.
This is what the first permanent cable looked like under the Atlantic.
Absolutely.
Barney Finn at the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History helped string together an exhibit commemorating the 150th anniversary of the first permanent transatlantic cable. Some of the items have not been on display in more than a century.
And this indeed is the cable going across the Atlantic.
Late in rough seas, the first few copper cables broke or burnt out.
We can transmit the entire contents of the Library of Congress across the Atlantic Ocean in 2 seconds.
At the TE Subcom plant in New Hampshire, the company uses colored glass strands of fiber to create the cables for those over-the-top providers, like Google, Facebook, and Microsoft, explains Vice President John Dufour.
Look at how thin these fibers are. This is like a hair. These are the size of a strand of human hair, but about 1,000 times stronger.
And demand is just as strong. The cable highway runs to the Global Sentinel ship 24 hours a day until fully loaded. Once installed in the dark depths of the ocean, it'll be a highway of fiber optic light.
It's amazing. And Mark sent us these thin little threads.
Yeah, it's housed in this. They put it under. It's housed in a thicker thing, but the actual cable itself, I mean, you can barely see it.
So they are telling us that 900 miles of cable are on these 3 spools. Now, there's a problem with that. Because, first of all, how do you do 3 spools? The cable they show is very rigid. So once you get to the end of the drum, to the spool at the top, then how do you move to the next spool? Either you start from the top and then you have to, avoid gravity, have these actors
is your penis rigid like that
manually, or you have to go to the other spool, go down to the bottom, and there start again spooling. The cable looks very rigid, so I'm not sure how would they do this U-turn. So that doesn't make sense. 900 miles is 1,448 kilometers.
I don't know how they're doing it, so it's not
is
real.
1,448,000 meters. And I just made a guess. One row of cable, or one spiral of cable, in one line, one layer, would be about, let's say, 900 meters, but I think probably even less. So dividing 1,448,000 by 900, we get to 1,609 rows or layers of this spiral. And I was calculating with 2 centimeter thickness of this cable, which would lead us to
I really trust his numbers because he is a smart dude.
3,218 centimeter, which is 32.18 meter. And that would be the height of the spool. And I found some data on the Global Sentinel. They say the depth is 11.3 meters. So there's no way that a 30-meter high spool would fit in. Right? But obviously, if they say 3 spools would fit in, and we can make this U-turn, then just exactly it would fit in there. But how about a 9,000 kilometer cable? This is 900 miles only. 9,000 kilometer long.
Indeed, a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That 11.3 is the measurement of the draft of the boat from the water line
from
down
sea
to the
level
keel.
down. Yeah, from
but
the underside
he knows his
of the
numbers.
By the way, not the inside.
All right. Well, we're gonna.
What
all
a
right. Well,
fucking dick.
we're gonna go through the hands up in the order they're here. We'll start with Mom NATO.
Okay, first off, those what were they calling the things where they've got the wires?
The spool.
Spools.
The spools.
Yeah, spool
Right.
rooms.
The spool rooms. You got the first spool. And then once the first spool is full, they run the cable from the first spool to the second spool and start spooling it. And then once that is full, it goes from the bottom to the top, from the bottom to the top, to the bottom to the top, and then out to wherever it's going. You fill it from the bottom up. How much brains does it take to figure out that it's all one cable coiled in
his.
3 different spools?
And it still can be more than one cable because they can splice the damn things.
There
Exactly.
you go.
But the whole point is that they've also got the repeaters. So yes, there's a certain just
It's almost like he's only considering that it's almost like he's figuring out there's only one turn, except there's a lot more than one turn. I was looking at least 50 per level of spoolage.
Oh, I think there was a lot more than
the
50
outside,
in that spool.
Yeah, and the the outermost
and those turns
turns are longer than the inside turns.
Right.
Yeah, and here's the thing: there was at least I was looking at them, and just back the napkin estimate, the spools on the inside were definitely more than a meter long. The inside turns were more than a meter long, way more, and there was at least 50 of those per flat part on those spools.
That cable looked to be about inch to let's say 2 inches. That means 10 wraps would be 20 inches, right? Am I thinking right here?
Yeah.
And so if there's 50, then it's 100. And that's only, that's only a few feet. That's about little. That's like 2 people laying down, and there look to be at least 20 feet or more between the end of the spool and the inside of the spool. Yeah. I'm not saying these numbers right. I'm sorry. I'm not thinking very well right now.
Well, either way, the fact of the matter is,
it's huge.
There's a lot more spoolage there than he thinks there is.
If you could do math, we would know you were cheating on the drink count.
Yeah. Well, we also had RJ with the hand up.
Yeah, the Great Eastern, which was that oldie-timey ship that was at the bottom of that picture in there that I screamed at hysterically. That was the first ship that was big enough to be able to carry enough cable to be able to do the Atlantic Ocean. They had 3 gigantic drums, which were laid out functionally just like the ones you saw in that a modern ship, except the cable was much thicker, which means the diameter of the bay had to be much bigger and was like, 2 or 3 stories high. We know exactly where they were on the ship. They had 3 giant drums for that purpose. One of which was on the forward section, and then 2 of them were behind the paddle wheels. And we know all of that historically. People visited them. Apparently, all were actors that visited them in the 19th century and all of that. No, this is such absolute nonsensical twaddle. But you got to admire, in a perverse, pathetic way, the sheer audacity of our little nitwit in trying to just simply bullshit away, middle finger away, everything to the contrary. Just, well, I don't believe it. This doesn't make any sense to me. This can't be true.
Yeah.
The audacity of nitwittery.
Yeah. I think he may have majored in nitwittery in the Dunning-Kruger community college he went to.
Right. That's why peanut butter's made out of cashews.
Yeah, and the concept that over 100 years, thousands of trained professionals may have figured out something that he couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
But we know that he has the command of all knowledge of the universe from there in his bedroom/den.
I just want to point out that we had a latecomer to the panel this evening.
Look, what's wrong with the what's wrong with the bedroom den combination? It's very
Hillel. Let's let Hillel handle the rest of the video.
Have you been sleeping on your keyboard lately?
I don't know. Okay, what have we got here? 9,000 kilometers. I don't know the metric system. And then some boats.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This man contends that all of the cabling system under the ocean that apparently exists is imaginary, false.
Oh.
All of the internet that uses the supposed cable system is actually communicating with the ether, the medium that exists in dimensional something or other.
You know, RJ, that's not where
to the ley lines of mystic lore.
And let's not forget that the Ethernet cables are the cables that they're running across the ocean.
See, they're called Ethernet for a reason.
Oh,
yeah,
and
he made that
sharks
point.
are
Hello.
actors. A shark that was seen gnawing on a cable in a picture, he contends was a paid actor.
I can't tell what RJ's making up, and that alone
he's
terrifies me.
absolutely correct.
Nope, I'm not making this up. He
Okay,
was
so
actually
I gotta be honest,
contending
when you started talking about undersea cable stuff, that's not where I thought you were gonna take that sentence.
Yeah, well, but anyone expecting to get a sentence that's going in any direction other than what? It does not understand this video that we've been watching.
I thought it might be, what is it? The flat earthers who say all internet is through undersea cable and not.
He's flat Earth too. Want to know this? That supposedly when he looked at a picture of the cable skein on the planet, that he was contending that if it were a globe Earth, it would have gotten all tangled up.
What would have gotten tangled? The
cables that run under the ocean.
I mean, my headphones get tangled all the time, so clearly Earth's a globe.
Yeah.
Your headphone cables do. Just imagine those cables that are supposedly thousands of miles long.
What I think is that either his testicles or his neck got
RJ,
caught in an old phone line that got tangled up a little too much and cut off too much oxygen
anyway. Yeah, so basically he thinks that it's called the Ethernet cable because it goes through the ether, and they're ley lines because they laid the lines.
That's wow.
Yeah.
And that every picture of actual cables and people who actually build the cables and
They're
people
all
who lay the
actors.
cables are actors, and it's all fake, and none of that actually exists.
Oh wait, are they actors or?
Oh, actors.
Wait,
yes,
hold
he
on.
explicitly says they're
actors,
Wait,
not
hold on.
trained.
So
not
the
just trained,
people who lay
actors.
are the people who do these cable stuff? Are they all actors and there are no real cables, or do the cables connect to the ether?
You got it.
And let's not forget
Both.
that he thinks
Okay.
people. Let's not forget he also thinks that people hold those cables on the seashore.
Yeah.
You forgot about that part.
That's quite the premise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
is,
yeah.
isn't
This
it?
is.
Oh yeah.
And those
Admittedly, it's
people
not
holding
as
them, of
well
course,
thought
are also
through
actors.
as people who think that Clydon waves are trying to attack their pineal glands from space people.
RJ,
But-
I'm going to strangle you.
Good.
And not in a fun way either.
Damn.
Ooh. Oh my.
All right, well, shall we continue the video and see just how much more we can show Hillel here?
Let's show our newcomer Hillel that we aren't making this shit up.
I demand evidence of these radical claims.
Yes.
Good luck.
We actually have evidence of our claims.
I mean that the claim is what you're saying he's saying. I don't expect him to support any of this.
Yes, we have proof of our claims of what he's saying.
Yeah.
That's the proof I want.
Fasten your seatbelt, Hillel.
All right, here.
Hold on.
Yes.
Seatbelt fastened.
Okay, good. Okay.
Get your drinking.
Didn't want to prematurely start. All right, here we go.
What about screen
cable for
protector?
Google is about 5,592 miles. And we were talking about 900 miles only in 3 spools on that ship. Now when they show this cable from
Many
1866,
trips.
this doesn't look like internet cable to me or telegraph cable to me. I think it is ancient tech.
Congratulations.
And they are trying to just mimic it. None of it makes sense. They don't have cables under the ocean.
Fucking dumbass.
All right, I feel like the claim's been substantiated.
Yeah. Was that enough evidence, Hillel?
Ancient.
I also
tech.
I love the logic that's like, guys, this can't be internet cable. It's ancient. It can't if it's ancient, it can't be the internet.
Okay, the cable that he's pointing to is from the 1860. That's hundreds of years ago.
Well, he's right. It's not internet cable.
That's right. It wasn't. It was
Exactly.
telegraph cable.
So then, okay, then what's the argument here? Okay,
Actually, I think these are modern wires.
No,
You agree with
no.
them? Perfect.
That's at the Smithsonian Institute, and he even said this is the cable the first ship carried.
Yeah, it does.
No,
it says on the
stuff
plaque
that-
under it,
that was the-
1866.
That was the cutting edge technology of the 19th century. It was not an unfamiliar technology to do. You're stranding together pieces of metal, but now you have to have a high quality of it because you're dealing with electrical signals. But there was a whole line. Roebling was making high quality steel cables for that Brooklyn Bridge thing. And so the technology was developing. This nincompoop from his den doesn't understand any of that, but that's not the science's fault because he has his head up his ass.
Tornado, you had your hand up?
It's almost as if anything that disagrees with him is automatically fake and nothing will convince him otherwise.
Are you eating something?
I think those cable spools are all actors.
Yeah, probably.
I just want to know why it hasn't occurred to him that it wouldn't be in the museum if it wasn't relatively old.
Also, why? Where does he
Here
think
you go again, injecting reason to this.
Wait.
What
Also,
do
he
you
doesn't,
think?
he doesn't believe that satellites are real, and he doesn't believe that internet cables are real. Where does he think people get internet from?
The ether.
Yes. I mean,
That's what it's the Ethernet. I guess your computer is communicating
internet into
with
the ether, and then what? What's the plan there? Like,
he hasn't quite got that far.
Like, so we just like, so the way people transmit is that the internet to each other is just through
The ether.
whatever that means.
The ether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
Admittedly, there is a footnote required on this argument, but he has not gotten anywhere near suggesting what that might be.
Mm-hmm.
I think the footnote you're talking about is any evidence at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I must admit, we have already inadvertently seen some really wonderful documentary footage on the development of cabling systems in our modern world that's
really
actually quite educational and informative.
Yeah.
Yeah. He missed it.
Of course, I missed that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed the actually informative part, and then I get this drivel.
Yeah.
Yeah, CBS News was doing a quite nice routine.
Oh my God,
In part, I know
35?
I'm sure some of the stuff that it was earlier was relating to the security issue because we know that like it's very valuable if like the Russians can tap into our cables or we can tap into Russian cables and we can therefore spy on people that way. So that's an important concern. Needless to say, the poor guy was warning about the sharks. Was noting that the reason why they have to have markers up is they don't want some idiot just offshore dropping a damn anchor and ripping up the computer system because there's going to be 8 billion stock trades in New York City that are going to be tits up.
Look, sharks.
And by the way, this news segment from CBS, that was actually done in celebration of the 150th anniversary of the first
that'd be about 2010 then. Yeah.
2016.
Okay. Well, there we go. Somewhere around in there.
All right.
In fact, I found.
In fact, Queen Victoria sent one of the very first messages across the transatlantic cable, but the thing broke after a bit, and it wasn't then until after the Civil War that they were getting up. They had to repair the damn thing, lay more cable, and be a little bit more reliable. And at that point, they were getting pretty damn good at it. And the Great Eastern went on again to lay cables in the Indian Ocean to break up so that the British could communicate expeditiously to their colonies in India. without having to send anything by mail. But this idiot just looks at this and goes, this is high-tech, ancient technology. It's because they put little metal trims around it for the damn museum, you nincompoop.
Yeah.
I miss those good old days when everyone would just talk to each other through pigeon.
Yeah. Earlier, one of our people in the live chat was saying it was quite clear that in the old days, somebody in England and New York had an extremely long string and tin cans that were connected together.
Yeah.
I mean, really, if you think about it, that's still what we have. It's just now, instead of a string, it's just...
Yeah, much more sophisticated cans and much more sophisticated string.
And let's not forget that he thinks that the fibers on his shirt are the same fibers they use for the internet.
I beg your pardon?
What else could they be?
That's what I just said.
I beg your pardon?
Exactly.
We're not making this up either.
See, the reason
I missed that one.
The reason you can just say that is because apparently you've hit 35 drinks already.
I'm not kidding. He said,
Yeah.
so what? Do they run do they use the fibers in my shirt to run electricity?
Obviously, yeah.
Oh my God.
And he would look at a cable that is easily way thicker than an Ethernet cable and say that it's just an Ethernet cable.
I've missed you all.
We missed you, Hillel.
Earlier I suggested that this fellow could have had a love child with Claudia, and that the child's immediate remark would be, "Stop embarrassing me, Dad, Mom."
Oh, good.
All right.
Let's move on.
Let's continue
How
on.
much
See
more
if
do
we
we
can
got?
get
How much longer do we have?
That's a dangerous question.
Yeah, we've still got some time. All right, here we go.
They are just showing that they heard about this ancient tech. They have no fucking idea how it works and what it does, but perhaps it would be good for the internet. So they are like, yeah, we are using this ancient tech for the internet. Ridiculous. They are also telling us that they were back then laying the cables with these wooden ships, right? And where's all the cable? I don't see it. And this is another ridiculous one. They are showing this yarn.
Oh dear.
Wait.
Oh, there's
wait a second. Because of that one picture, he doesn't see the cable, so it doesn't exist.
Argumentum ad, it's not in this particular picture, Iam.
Right.
Yeah, translation, waffle, waffle, waffle.
Right, and this is the picture this is where we were talking about modern cabling, some of the modern cabling systems. Yeah.
Moving on. You need to go check on your mom.
Well, no, I got to say something here.
Let's head on over to RJ. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Now let me try to get this picture straight. That's whatever that's inside of his head. That ancient technology that resembles telegraph wire cables was found at some spot or other. And the people in the 19th century were so gobsmacked at this that they built giant layers to lay huge strings of this across the Atlantic Ocean for the internet in the 19th century, but that they didn't do that because there are no cables on the Atlantic Ocean, according to him. So is this the Schrodinger cable system that is simultaneously laid and not laid on the ocean?
Exactly.
Well, I guess he had some fast turnaround there. He in one moment he was saying these are not used for internet; they are from the ancients, and now we've used them for internet. Like then that was the quickest self-contradiction I've heard all week.
Yeah.
Well, and there was the earlier one that there are no cables on the ocean floor. But if there aren't cables on the ocean floor, how are there electric lights on islands?
Oh, yeah. Oh, and he was saying, well, how come they don't lay these things on the land? To
That's
which
a real chin scratcher, huh?
There are like phone lines.
Yeah.
So I have the sneaking
dear.
suspicion this fellow doesn't get out much.
Are you kidding? I have the sneaking suspicion that he's just full of bullshit.
Well, it's possible that those are not mutually exclusive.
Guys,
That's true.
Seriously?
He had that one. Guys, you understand? He had that one picture where it's like a painting of a boat, and he couldn't see any cables from there. So,
I have a sneaking suspicion this guy is a European incel.
That's possible.
And he's never going to get ley line.
Hey, come on, that doesn't.
No.
RJ, how dare you?
He will never be allowed to lay lines at anyone's house.
You're not laying.
Yes, and he's intransient.
Okay.
Anyway,
I have a. Let me put it this
Oh,
way.
boy.
This is going to be
No, don't put it anyway.
I'm just gonna say I have a third eye. It doesn't make me psychic, but it does help me see bullshit.
Or at least enable you to fart
Let's
without
not
blowing
unpack
up.
that. And
yeah.
I'm thinking of several jokes I could do, but I don't
No,
think
RJ,
that
do me a favor and don't say any of them.
Yeah, the packet loss is just interesting.
Punching the cobra. All
Anyway.
right.
Okay,
let's continue on here.
You know, this fiber, and this is supposed to transfer your internet, your data. Give me a break. And then they show these thin little threads, and this transfers your data. Do you actually buy this? They need manual laborers for this? To spool it manually? Give me a break. You know, all of these people are actors. For some reason, I was curious what other videos are recommended
they're all
to me.
actors.
So I went down further, and I found this one. Do you see this guy looking very similar to that other guy? So I guess the AI of YouTube just picked up on the face because they use face recognition, obviously, and he picked up that it is the same guy.
Wow,
You know, it's the
nobody
same
ever
actor,
looks
acting
alike
once
because
as
of a
the captain of the
fake
Global
beard.
Sentinel.
Are we going to destroy the drink counter this time?
This is a Poe, right? There's no way.
Oh, I am convinced that he is a Poe.
Could anybody be that stupid? Probably not.
I'm not entirely sure.
There's no way there's a real person like thing. Give me a break. Other thing? I don't think so.
Well,
other
Hilo,
thing?
Hilo,
Really?
you have to remember, there is an almost carbon copy of this asshole. Sorry, the Hans Wormhat. He does the same damn thing. I'm closer to believing that this jackass is more of a Poe than Hans Wormhat is.
Yeah.
This guy here is worse.
It's like this one particular person in this thumbnail looks. He just not gonna even show them side by side. Like this guy looks like this other guy who is apparently a cowboy. I don't even want to start.
Yeah. Therefore, internet cables that are using fiber optics are there to light up islands, and that's why that you have to have paid actors in the form of sharks to bite cables.
I don't know if you guys know this. Fun fact about me: I'm currently having an aneurysm.
I think it would be your aneurysm having an aneurysm.
My aneurysm is having an
been here from the beginning.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Well, let's go over to Tornado. He's got his hand up in first.
Oh, big surprise.
Because, of course, a video about wiring. He's going on about how this AI was going on. The AI recommended a face to him. But no, that's not how that works. You'll notice that it was a video on internet cables. And then it goes on to shale cowboys fracking under Trump. The two videos are in no way linked to each other. You, sir, are talking out your ass again.
That's what they want you to think, man. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Or break.
Yeah, they and them. Mom Nato.
Okay, it is possible. God knows I've seen it myself. For two people to look almost identical. My uncle Jackie, who died about 6 years ago, looked exactly like Kenny Rogers they were identical twins. Looked exactly like Kenny Rogers before he had his facelift done. It was uncanny. So yeah, fuck you. They can look alike.
Yeah, pretty much. RJ.
Yeah. There's a certain logical whiplash I was getting just a little bit earlier, where he's asking that the people spooling the cables, why would they need manual labor for that? They must be just actors. So if this guy were to see a picture of farmers plowing fields, would he say, well, why would you need manual labor to plow a field? They must be actors. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, how many people have seen this video, and does he make money at it?
He has a Patreon account.
And how many people view his little videos?
Too many.
We have like a number.
I don't think so.
Well, if it's like a lot, then we have to wonder what the hell is the fate of civilization under those circumstances.
But I'm wondering, so like, how many? So to this guy, how many people are in on the conspiracy?
Yeah, everyone. Well, apparently, everybody outside of his living room.
At the very least, a couple 100,000.
Yeah. Everybody's actors. I tell you, I want to be one of those actors. I am pissed. I have not received the NASA shill check. I have not received any funds from Joe Soros. I want to at least get on this fake international cable system gig.
Yeah.
Where I could
wasn't
just go
paid by
and
AT&T.
stand in front of a camera and hold up my Ethernet connection and say that this is part of the transatlantic cable, and they like send me like $10,000. I mean, I'm in.
Right.
Well, hey, I have some good news in relation to one of the questions that you posed earlier. You know, compared to so many other idiotic, asinine, inane videos on the internet, the fake internet, of course. A year ago, he published a video titled "The Moon is an LED Light." Yeah, although it is only 1 minute and 30 seconds long. 36 seconds long. Sorry.
Short and not sweet.
Wait, hold on. The moon is it's a light
LED
emitting
light.
diode light.
Yeah, it's a light, in other words.
Well, isn't it nice to know that the
he
LED
has-
was invented back in like a long time ago?
The 50s. The late 40s, actually, I think. Anyway, it has.
Michael, it says RJ has to sign
view-
up for my direct deposit to get my shill money. Well, now you tell me.
Yeah, it has about 3.7 thousand views. That's from a year ago.
Okay.
Thankfully, it's not more than that.
Okay, well, that does mean that there are 3,000 people, some of whom may be technically brain dead.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. You're not wrong.
true.
Did anybody
And
else
humans
notice?
Oh no, no, go on. I don't want to kill you by
That's
saying.
okay. No. I'll we'll go over to Purple, who's got his hand up.
Holy crap!
Well, just, he's saying about the face recognition software, but look at the image we have right here. Okay, the guy stopped on his mustache and a beard. Barnabas has a mustache and a beard. That's how he knows he's the actor.
Yeah.
Don't tell him that.
Yeah.
Is
Is it just me, or does he look a lot like JM Truth?
Truth? Yeah.
Daniel is the same species as Leonardo da Vinci. Let that sink in.
No, he does not look anything like a turtle.
Yeah. All right, let's see if we can finish this one up.
And here he is a cowboy, the same guy. I look at the similarities. I mean, unbelievable. This prison asylum is an actor-based reality.
Correct.
They don't have enough actors, so
and
they
they
are
even
fulfilling
managed
several
to
roles,
adjust
just
the
as in
earlobes
movies.
so they
you can
don't
see Tom
match.
Cruise in several different films. It's the same here in politics, on the media, on the news channels, on YouTube. These people fill several roles. They are
And his
actors.
nose
Here's another
doesn't look
interesting
the
video
same.
from Vox. They are telling us that they have laid already in the 1800s these telegraph cables through these wooden ships, and this is the pool. If you remember, the guy said between the Atlantic and Europe, they needed 5,700 kilometers. And you are telling me that this pool contains 5,700 kilometers of cable? Give me a break. Here's another ridiculous cable
Guess
laying.
what, you
Look at this pool.
dipshit?
Does it
It
look
took
like
more than
thousands
one
of kilometers
trip
of
to do
cable?
it.
I mean, all
It
of this is
still
a theater.
does.
Do you understand? These are actors. Just so that you think that there is this high technology.
RJ.
I will
Yes,
remind
RJ.
people, I'm about to overwhelm you with horrible amount of detail about
You
the
think
Great Eastern.
perhaps you could
Isambard
underwhelm me with
Kingdom
it?
Brunel's great ship, 690
You know better.
feet long, the largest ship of the 19th century down to 1899, a gigantic vessel whose volume was more than adequate to perform the need. Either you are a complete nautical illiterate to where you imagine that a picture you got from the internet of an 1830s or 40s steamship somehow gets rid of the Great Eastern, which we know you actually actually saw under your eyeballs because it was on that CBS show that you just showed. Don't you ever take notes on anything, you poltroon? You
my quick thing is like, like cement trucks. Like, do they think like, how could you ever lay down a road? One of these trucks doesn't have nearly enough material to cover the entire highway.
Absolutely, they would. And I'll tell you, this whole bit of like about there being automobiles everywhere is absurd. Do you realize you'd have to build gas stations everywhere?
Exactly. I don't have nearly enough gas to drive all the way to I don't know, India. Therefore,
not even the oceans exist. That's why it's actually possible to drive from somewhere in the U.S. to some place that doesn't exist, which is India. Well, tomorrow he'll probably make a video about India not being real.
Have you ever been to India? I don't think so.
Well, hey, the real Indians are apparently in the U.S. because that's why they're called Indians, right? I mean, the actual native people in the U.S. I mean, the North America, help me out, guys.
You want to take a nap?
Purple.
I'm starting to feel as if I have now got negative numbers of IQ.
Let's head on over to Purple with the hand up.
How about the simple fact that that picture of the ship from the 1830s isn't even a photograph, that's an illustration?
Yeah.
Even the more reason why it's fake.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the proportions of the ship aren't 100% accurate.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. Let's see. I think we're almost there.
A perfectly legitimate
you
ship
say
of that period. Small steamers that had side paddles like that. It was most probably one that would have been laying cable, for example, across the English Channel, which is a relatively short distance. But to do something across thousands of miles required a big ship. And there was exactly one big ship at the time, and that was the Great Eastern, which this idiot theoretically could have known about because it was literally under his eyeballs earlier in the thing. But he doesn't take notes. He doesn't know anything about any of that. But I am a ship aficionado, so poo on you.
So, do you know of a ship that... Oh, well, never mind. Yes.
All right, let's continue.
Right, Bo, know your place.
No, they don't have high technology. It's all a lie. We are connecting through the ether. That's why we have Ethernet cables. All communication is a lie. And that's it for me for today. This is a completely community-funded channel. YouTube never paid me a penny. So if you'd like to support my work, please go to my support page. Kick in a couple of bucks so that I can keep up the lights. Thanks everyone who supported my work so far. Are you starting to understand my ether communication? See you in the next one.
His beard's pretty good, at least. He just said that internet communication is a lie. I mean, I've never communicated through the internet to anyone. Have you guys? No, he flat out just said internet communication is a lie. Yeah, I'm just saying. Have you look? Okay, have any of you ever communicated through the internet? I don't think so.
No.
Oh yeah, it's not like we're communicating through the internet right
Tornado.
now.
I cannot even think of a single example when I've communicated to someone through the internet.
Zoom, Google,
Tornado.
Discord.
I cannot think of a single example when I have done that.
Yes, hello.
Steam.
You're correct.
Skype, Terraria.
Yeah, well, I know the internet does not actually exist. All of you people are just in the apartment on the other side of this wall.
I mean, it's
I
lucky for him.
think Daniel is an actor.
It's lucky for him they're not just called internet cables. Otherwise, half his argument would be gone.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Well, that was fun.
Yeah. That's it.
Everything
quotation marks around that word fun, please.
Yes,
It's just
obviously.
everything that came out of his mouth was a lie.
Yeah.
Yes, we know he's talking out his ass again.
Okay, Tornado, that's not true. Not
Indeed.
all of it was a lie. Some of it was incoherent.
Pug.
Oh, the cute
Cute pug.
Pug.
Dog.
But there was that CBS clip and that stuff. That was actually.
Oh, they've evolved a
Alrighty.
dog.
Well, as fun as that
Even the
was,
pain from my brain hurts.
Does he have lots of other videos that you're never going to put on this channel unless you really want to be cruel to us?
Yes, exactly that.
That one that was only a minute long that says that the moon was a giant LED. I mean, that would at least that would only take us an hour or two to do an analysis.
This is the type of video, or this dumbass is anyway, that makes me want to watch. Dare I say it? Even I'm just gonna
you doing okay there, Bo?
Even chili juice videos.
Okay,
you guys know how much I
Bo,
hate
I think you're enjoying
her.
thinking about that too much.
Yeah.
Now, is it not possible that Jilly Juice is just drippy ether?
My sneeze was more intelligent than this video.
That's true.
Yeah.
Jen even called my sneeze cute.
Alrighty. Well, RJ,
No,
what
she's
do you
a
have
paid
coming
actor.
up
You
lately?
can't trust her.
What do you have coming up soon, RJ?
Oh, well, I'm continuing with the exciting research for the volume 2 of The Rocks Were There. I'm on chapter 31, which is nearing the end of the second Phileas Fogg novel. So if you want to find out about the Great Eastern and even have a spine-tingling gun chase into the cable chambers of the Great Eastern, get the damn book and you'll be knowing 8,000 times more about the Great Eastern than that idiot did on this. And by the way, the ship generated its own gaslight. It had a gaslight manufacturing facility on board, so it had internal gaslighting. It's just an amazing vessel.
Hold on.
I wonder how much gaslighting they could do for. Never mind.
It had internal gaslighting.
Yeah, they had their own gas generating plant. There were a lot of the hotel, the St. Nicholas Hotel that also figures in the Fogg story, actually had its own gaslighting thing, that they weren't on a municipal gas light, that electric lamps really didn't come in to vessels until the turn of the century. So either you went for a rather dreary kerosene light, or you went whole hog. If you had a ship that was 690 feet long, you could just go ahead and have an internal gaslighting system.
Right. That's all.
Mom Nato, was that you sneezing again?
Yes.
Kids, I'm going to take off.
So real
right, good night,
history
Jenny.
is damned interesting.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Tornado bite.
And what
He
was that
sounds
about
like
my
sounds like a pixie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh
she
my
stomped
goodness.
on.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, with that, who else has anything they'd like to shill out?
Game of Fools.
Yes, there's should be a Game of Fools tomorrow. Make sure you guys go check that out. If One Wing Sparrow is still in the chat, you can always drop the link as well. But yes, definitely check them out over. It's a Game of Fools. Each word is separate, and they're awesome, and they do lots of fun stuff and things and stuff.
And stuff too.
Okay,
Yes.
and
we
this
are-
is not coming up soon, but next month for Christmas Day, I will be doing the marathon relay chat again. So I am looking for people who are, willing to host 2-hour blocks of chat, and then just after you're done, pass it on to the next channel. The main idea is just so that anybody who's alone on Christmas Day will have a schedule that they will know where they can go
that's
to
sweet.
to have some friends to hang out with.
That's awesome, Purple, and thank you for that. Yeah, I remember you doing that last year, and that was awesome then too. And a lot of people came together to make that happen. So
Yeah,
that
so
was
we need
awesome.
some people to volunteer to host time slots.
Making the Ethernet useful.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you want to, if you have any kind of like post or anything you want to make, and let me know, Purple, and I'll be sure to share it and stuff as well.
Now, you said we're supposed to be having a movie night next week.
Yes.
Next week is Thanksgiving on Thursday, just so people know.
That's Thursday. This is Friday.
Yes.
Well, but some people travel,
Yes.
so they may not be getting
Yes.
home until Friday.
Yes, next week is known as Turkey Sandwich Night.
Yeah.
I am stuck in here because Washington State is among others that says don't do that, and so normally I would be going over to my niece's.
Okay, I
we're
just
gonna be
have to
Zooming
ask if you
on
have
Thursday.
yet figured out a way to fold up Derpy Dog's tongue so it fits back in his mouth.
No, nope, it just stays out like that permanently. That's it forever.
Could invest in some paper clips.
I mean, I could, or some
I mean,
rubber
how
bands.
else do you keep the upholstery clean?
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we shouldn't why even celebrate Thanksgiving? When you think about what it actually
Well, then
is
just the
centered around.
cure is to just
Oh,
not-
and there's a wonderful Thanksgiving party aboard the General Grant in Phileas Fogg.
Awesome. I like the plugs.
That's what I'm celebrating.
Well, I'm going for it.
Yeah. I never said you were shameless.
I'm not celebrating Thanksgiving of the Pilgrims. I'm celebrating Thanksgiving that my mom and my son and me are all still alive. In this crazy year.
And then hopefully 2021 will be better than this pile of shit.
I'm going to be celebrating the Thanksgiving aboard the Grant by Phileas Fogg. That's what I'm celebrating.
There
the
you
anniversary
go.
of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's while they're crossing the Pacific Ocean after that's happened in the Pacific.
That's in the top 7 of one of my favorite oceans.
And before and before you get you've got action adventure on all of those various things, and plus what happens on the Carnatic will curdle your blood.
I'm gonna head off, ladies and gentlemen.
All righty. Good night, Tornado.
Night, Tornado.
See ya.
All righty.
Don't accept any wooden penguins.
Yeah.
We'll just accept laser-bearing penguins.
Yeah, you steer clear of those. But the wooden penguins, you definitely don't want to accept them.
Okay,
they are
does
not
someone wanna tell me
common
what that
currency
means, or do I have
anywhere
to
in the
guess?
known universe.
We will not accept wooden penguins. Bye.
Hey, Sparrow, put up the Game of Fools link.
Don't ask, Hillel.
I feel like I have to. I feel like in this business, I can't afford to be ignorant of that sort of thing. Because before I know it, it'll be an inside joke, and then I'll have no clue what it means the rest of time.
Clam.
Yeah.
Kind of like clam, exactly. I have no idea where that comes from.
Thank you.
Ichil asks, wooden penguins, don't ask Ichil.
What about choking cobras or...
Yeah, punching the cobras.
Oh, what if I want a
You
wooden
choke
penguin to
chicken.
put by my door?
You choke
You
chickens
were
and you punch
warned.
cobras.
If you're choking the Klingon, choking the cobra doesn't seem like that's you don't want to do that. That seems unhealthy.
Hey, I have only touched a chicken once, and I beheaded it, so I don't have all that much.
They actually have a
experience with them.
spectrum of behavior on cobra choking that you can go from light massage all the way through.
Don't forget spanking the Klingon.
Yeah, there's
What?
that as well.
But just watch out. There's an awful lot of toilet paper.
Look, I used to think this was a science show turned movie show. No, it's just a euphemism show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Poor
dear.
Tornado.
Oh my god.
Or,
Anyway.
in honor of this evening, an etherism.
Oh,
Stick a fork in it. We're done.
Alrighty.
That's just to
Well,
remind you, you can
Prices like
anytime
toilet
kick.
paper.
You can anytime kick. You can kick RJ right out of here. You don't need his permission at any moment. Nothing stopping
Hey,
you.
am I going to be playing the new role of Brooke?
Just a friendly reminder.
Yes, as One Wing Sparrow says, slapping the Klingon is punching the cobra for women.
Oh, okay. I see.
That sounds
okay. That's useful to know.
alrighty. Anyway, with that, we're gonna wrap up for the night.
Get command, quick.
We're gonna say good night, panel.
Good night, panel.
Good night, panel.
Hey, Momnado cheated. She yelled. We were supposed to say it.
Say goodnight to the dry